This is FanSpeak, a weekly live show where the fans of comics and its community are our guests. All right, well, welcome to the show, everyone, and we got a good one for you today. We are going to be talking about several interesting topics today. Our segments are going to be the state of affairs here in Comicsgate. Of course, we are also going to be talking about the news as usual, and we will be getting into IndieCron later. But before we do that, I just want to go ahead and say hello to the panelists I have up here. We got Booster, we got DeWolf, we got Denali, and of course we have Thundaro. So how you guys all feeling today? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go?
I don't know about a good show, but I'm sure it'll be all right.
It will be, at least.
Well, thanks, guys.
We are doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I am awesome. It's a beautiful day out. I got my wife here next to me. I'm happy, man. I need coffee though. But I'll be all right. It'll work itself out.
Bitch coffee.
All right now. Yeah, hello everybody that's listening. Thanks for joining us. And we are going to cover a bunch of topics. So first thing I want to do is talk a little bit about what we have going on here. And of course, we want to talk about that art contest, which we'll be pushing because on October 30th is the deadline. So Denali, why don't you kind of lay out what our art contest is about, man?
So we're trying to get the
Yeah,
community
hello,
involved,
everybody.
and we want to try to choose a new logo and a new mascot that kind of represents FanSpeak. And we kind of leave that open for you guys to decide, but it can't be a copyrighted character or anything like that. It has to be totally original. And, we kind of leave it open for you guys to decide when you hear FanSpeak and you know about this channel, or you decide to bruise and listen to our past shows or this current show, what does it mean to you? And when the 30th comes, we're going to collect all those entries, have the community vote on them, and then we decide the finalists. And from those finalists, we'll select a winner or winners, depending on what happens. And that winner or winners will have a full page ad taken out of Alterna Comics to showcase the logo, the mascot, and their original art. So it will be distributed throughout Alterna. So it will be a great prize. That's what I think. What about you guys?
I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be working on mine soon. Trust me, lad, it's going to be stunning.
Actually,
yeah, I'm getting around.
I was talking with a few guys about doing a promo for that, and maybe I'll put up some announcement here in the next day or so. But yeah, we have some cool ideas going on with that. But I love that. I think it's a great idea. Other things we have going on, of course, is the Comics Titans fundraiser, and that is being done by Pope Fire, of course, and Eric Niedoltowski. They are Eric's the treasurer. He's taking care of the money, and Pope Fire is running around everywhere and telling about it. But it's a charity raffle where you can go get a ticket for over there on that website. For $3 you get one raffle ticket, and for $5 you get two. And they have a lot of cool prizes they're going to give away, and they're going to give that away on October 31st. We are doing a special Halloween show here, and on that show, on that Halloween night, we're going to do the raffle, and we're also going to do the contest for our contest, and we'll do some other fun stuff too. So definitely join us for that day and have some fun with us on Halloween, and you can be in costume, and everyone can not see each other in costume. So it'll be awesome. We just want to say hello to March Hare. Welcome to being here, sir. We all have Dave is over here. Hello. And of course, Paul has joined us as well. So just do us a favor and everyone share out this to your communities, family, and friends, so we get more and more over here to join us. But yeah, we love doing FanSpeak. It's a lot of fun. So some other stuff we have going on, as you'll see down there in the links. We have the link to the FanSpeak Facebook page. Please come over and join us. Become a member. Give us your opinions. It's not just giving art for the contest or giving any art you want. Also share reviews. Share what you think about news. But another thing that's I think very important that we do here is we have guests on, and our guests are the fans, right? So if you want to be on the show and you want to have your voice heard and give your opinion, just come over to FanSpeak and let us know. Or more, or even better, go down to the my Facebook page, Chester C. Busby III, and say, Chester, put me on the show. And Chester will do so. We have a lot of other things going on in news, but we will drop those pieces of information as we go along the way. And also just keep in mind you can contact any of the guys you see up here, not only for being on the show, for information. If you want to be in the Join Recorded Fan Edition as an artist, you can talk to me. You can talk to Pixel, of course. I mean, he's the boss of that, and he manages that really great. But you can also talk to Booster or DeWolf or Denali or Thundaro at any time about anything you want regarding this, and it will all be filtered back into us. So thank you very much. I see Hoth the Rebel is here, and thank you for being here. And we have a Pope Raven. Absolutely. We need the Pope Raven. It's a very important member. Thank you for joining us. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's jump into our news for today. And we have a few topics that we want to get into. But before we get into that, of course, we have the chairman's address.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chester. And creators, everyone in the chat, and fans far and wide, thank you and welcome.
You might want to click on DeWolf. You're locked on my face, Chester.
Okay, I will do that.
There you go. All right, and that's kind of funny. I'll be using that. The aspect that I was thinking of that was going on through Comicsgate recently was, is the honeymoon over? Right? And we know what this means in many aspects of excitement, right? There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of buildup. There's a lot of courting that goes on. You know, in Comicsgate, you have them pitching the whole concept to you. And, you know, are you going to get involved? Are you going to start this relationship? Well, when you have that aspect of the honeymoon being over, it also gives you that possibility that now there's less excitement and it's no longer fun. And what's going on with this now, you know, and who am I with? Which, of course, you don't want to be in that position. So you take a long time, you take a while, you make sure that you are considering what you're doing, what you're getting into, and who you're being involved with, especially with a relationship or a broad community such as Comicsgate. And then over time, and here's the big thing, and that's the time, because a honeymoon is going to insinuate that there is a partnership going on. Of course, not just a marriage, but in this situation, you have a partnership of creator and customer. And with a marriage, it's long term. You're saying until life. So it's okay if the honeymoon does end, because what you're getting out of it is a long term relationship that's going to build up, and your life is going to be enriched from thereafter. And that's the key point. Is the honeymoon for Comicsgate over? Is there excitement that is waning? And how do you keep that? Well, in a marriage, what do we know of? You keep communication open. And a big thing you build is trust. You know, creators and customers have to continue building trust. You know, we go ahead and make pledges or backings. We have to make sure we're going to pay them. And we can't just, you know, let them be out there without paying them. And then they have to return a good product. And that's what's going on here is with Comicsgate, we're now entering into maybe a longer phase in which this is going to become something that it can be long-term, it can be enriched, but you have to work at it. Just like husbands and wives work constantly with each other, so too must, I believe, the community and creators and customers will be working together for a much longer time frame, but always keep that in mind, that it's something that you work for and you both get benefit out of thereafter. So yes, there may be a honeymoon phase. It may be coming to a close, and that only means things will continually getting better as long as we keep working at it. But you know, that's just what I'm saying. What are the fans saying? Welcome to FanSpeak.
All right. Thank you very much,
Beautiful.
Chairman. Beautiful. Beautiful. And just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we do have podcasts available on Anchor, and we are going to be adding more and more to those. So the good thing about Anchor is that you can use that with any of the other podcasts that are going on throughout the world, because Anchor hooks up to all of them. So please, by all means, go check that out, and we will be adding more and more content. Also, we will, of course, want to say thank you to our sponsor, which is Indicron through Pixel Trader. Thank you very much, sir, for all the support you give us. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the news. So I'm going to do something a little different today going into the news. I'm actually going to drop our news, intro. Let's see how that goes. All right. Now, getting into the news today, we have some very interesting topics, I think. And the first thing we want to do is talk about Action Comics has revealed Superman's identity to the world. Maybe. Now, Denali, you were talking about this with me earlier, and
Mhm.
I thought your take on it was pretty interesting. Why don't you go ahead and share your thoughts on that?
Well, again, they have already done this. The perpetrator has been Lois Lane the first time, where Clark Kent shows Lois Lane that he's Superman, and she shares that whole news to the world, and everybody hated that. This time around, Superman is getting angsty because they're taking a break, and Superman wants to be with Lois. So what does he do? He kisses her in front of everybody, and everybody knows that Clark Kent is married to Lois Lane. So,
That means she's cheating with Superman. Not that that's the same guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, maybe Superman is Lois's freebie. I don't know.
yeah,
maybe. But I think the point you're getting to is that the person who is doing it again.
yeah. And Chester, you may want to check your sound volume because you sound low to the chat.
Do I sound low to the chat? How about this?
Yeah. And we hear your wife's Japanese drama in the background.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that just wonderful? All right, you guys go ahead and keep talking about that, and I will come over here and I'll try to fix it. How about that?
It's kind of
Absolutely.
interesting, though, that they've kind of happenstance admitted that Lois Lane's a bad thing for him. I mean, at least often she is. Not much good comes from their relationship, it would seem.
Are you guys still hearing that in the background?
Yes, we are.
This
So-
comic book talks cannot write superheroes and relationships. I don't get it.
I don't get it because Lois Lane's supposed to be the love of Clark Kent's life, and he would literally give up his powers to be with her. And it seems like the writers of the modern Supermans have forgotten that. It's like they can't really believe in true love anymore, or the idea of it. So they have to put in the realistic messiness of that, of couples uncoupling and breaking apart and all that. And we don't look for that. We look for aspiration, even in relationships. We want, the happily ever after. If it's like the only thing that Superman gets, from saving the world and saving, it's just having a happy life, at least, being rewarded for doing the good thing. And what it seems is they're trying to do this to kind of spice it up and cause drama, but it's not the good drama. It's not the good drama that you want to say, watch. This is the bad drama that you kind of walk away from because you see it too much in the real life. We leave the real world to go into a fantasy where things can be much better, or you hope it can be aspirational.
This is kind of a problem that even my wife notices. She hates it when they kind of force these like love stories and this love drama into stuff. If it doesn't make sense in the current whatever you're doing, don't force it just to have it. A good example, actually, like we were just talking about before we started, was the Venom movie. There's a little bit of that, but it's kind of just there. It's not really forced. Um, and I think that's something that a lot of people aren't doing right and haven't done right in a long time. They think they have this overwhelming need to have some sort of love story or some sort of love overcoming adversity, blah 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 blah. And even most women don't like that if it doesn't make sense and it's not done right. It's just it's boring, it's annoying, and nobody really wants to watch it happen.
Now,
I feel like this is just the writers staying relevant after they're done writing something. You know, they want to have that everlasting effect on a character that had just done writing. And Bendis did this absolute same trick with Daredevil while he was writing it, and his Daredevil was absolutely excellent. And that really, and the writers that came afterwards really played with that little power thing.
Yeah, but I think
you know?
the real issue, Booster, is people are not interested in, Superman and Lois having marital difficulties. We're not. We're not interested at all.
Yeah, of course.
We're happy with them being a couple. Leave it alone. Quit messing with it. Quit bringing your angry angst and your troubles you have in your own life and putting them on other characters, which we've seen happen many times. Now, is my mic better? Are you guys still getting the
No, you
flow
sound
back?
beautiful. You sound absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you're fine on my end from what I can
Awesome.
tell.
All right.
We'll just have to wonder if the people hearing it can hear you just fine.
Yeah,
and I just got to do this one obligatory thing per stream when we talk about this. Bendis!
Very well.
Yeah, there you go.
Very well. Thank you.
So
All right.
I'm gonna use two different characters to throw in here what I want out of Superman and Lois Lane, and that is Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic. You know, if we had to depart, which I think happened, but I'm gonna block it out. Really, with them, right? Because they are married and they're in doing all these things, and there was always this, they were married kind of thing going on. Things that bad things might happen. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if things get bad in a marriage or you have some sort of problems, that you should be able to work it out. And that's the key thing, is to always be working something out. And to see that written into a comic and written into characters where they're trying to continually be good and have, you want to talk about something that might be novel nowadays.
Yeah. Well, you are roboting in and out really bad, DeWolf. Check your connection. I'm looking over here, and the connection is really strong. So you're roboting in and out, or you're losing you.
Yeah. I do agree as well.
Yeah,
but I do agree about Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic, is that we don't have couples that can support each other. We don't see that in the comics. We always see an unbalanced relationship, and that's what causes a lot of a lot of issues in comics, like Mary Jane and Peter Parker. It was so unbalanced that they got rid of the marriage because they're like, we can't do anything. We only know how to do the chase. We don't know how to do the support part of the relationship.
And I wonder why that is. I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, they say you write what you know, right?
Well, a lot of it is because most of these people are miserable. They're absolutely miserable people. They don't understand what it's like to actually be happy with yourself, let alone with somebody else. Something that you must learn first. If you're going to get married, if you're going to be with somebody long term, you have to like yourself. If you don't, it's not going to work.
That's true. All right, let me come over here to chat and say hello to some of the people that are starting to join us. We have Maniac Man 2030. I forgot I subbed here. Now I feel bad. Wow, thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you. Absolutely. And feel free to comment in the chat and ask us any question you like, by the way. ValeNet is here. Hello. Hail Raven. Yes, of course. Hail Raven. The Pope Wars continue. Willie Mammoth is here. Hey, hello, friends. Yes, hello, Willie. We were very happy to have you here, man. Comic Rust. Hello, that's a new name. Hey, nice to see you. So forgot that Bendis might do a one more day. Please, no, we don't need that. No, we don't need one more day. We had that. That was Dan Didio did that and kind of really set the community off with separating out Spider-Man and of course Peter and Mary. That was Didio, right?
No,
I
no,
thought that
no.
was Dan Slott.
Dan, really? I thought it was Didio did it one more
One
day.
more,
Maybe I'm
one more
wrong.
day. I thought it was Joe Quesada.
Oh, well, okay. It was Casada. It was Mr. Quesadilla. Thank you. See, you got to get it straight here. No, you're right. It
Yeah.
is Joe Quesada. All right. Moving on. Hello, Dave. He's here. We have Doom has joined us. They gave him to Bendis because of name recognition. Really? Okay. I'm going with willfully blind. Yes, I agree. He also Doom also adds that the ship is sinking. I think they'd try anything at this point. Sadly, I think that's exactly what they're doing, man. Oh, look, it's Joshua Hughes, our most favorite troll. It might be a little late, but I think I'll claim the text chat for the Cult of Raven. Yes, okay, fine. And I love this new text you're doing, Joshua. It's good. You keep evolving and adding to your trolldom. You're doing good, man. And of course, Boosters tells us that Bendis is coming. How sad is that? All right, guys. So let's move on to our next.
The North, remember, Bendis is coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Pepperidge Farms remembers. I now, Denali, what is this nonsense that's on my screen here? Because I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. Tell us what's going on here, man.
So the usual suspects are targeting bounding into comics because they're reporting what they're saying to others, and they know that bounding in comics is a right-leaning Comicsgate supporter. News that it's not falling in line with the rest of the media, so they're saying don't follow bounding into comics. Don't give them press releases and all that stuff kind of deals. Because they just support, hate speech, and all the other stuff that it's just boring to repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
Because that's all they do. Execute
So maybe you guys
program to repeat.
Oh yeah, of course. Maybe you guys can help me. Who is this long-haired fellow here on the left? On the
I
picture.
believe that's Tamara Bonvillain, and that's a woman.
That's a woman. Huh?
Yes.
No way. That's a dude. What are you talking about?
We're talking trans here, Chester.
Oh, it's a transgender. Oh, okay, that's fine.
It's 2018, Chester.
Oh, well, I didn't know, man. I don't know. All right, cool. All right, he's a transgender. Have at it. I have no problem with that. I just didn't know who the dude was. Who's the dude in the middle?
I have no idea who these other two are.
He looks like he should be in the military or something. That last one is I think I've seen this face. Who's this other guy here? Who's this guy?
All right, I'm gonna fess up. It's me.
It's me. You. All right, awesome. Thundero has been spotted in the wild. So who's the dude on the far right?
The far right.
Right, that's Chester.
Kisran Siach. I don't know. I don't know if I pronounced it right.
And are these people important, or are they just meanies?
Well, this one is I believe she's a colorist for Marvel. DC and Marvel colorist. She's done Doom Patrol, Moon Girl, and Devil Dinosaur and Uncanny Avengers. The middle one, I'm not really sure. I think that's Matt Meyer, but somebody could correct me in the chat. And then the other one, the last one is what was it?
James Gibson.
Who could that be?
Unimportant. The guy's unimportant.
Gibson, man of mystery.
Yes, everybody is James Gibson today. But anyway, it doesn't really matter who they are. And
then the far right is a CBR rider.
That's right.
So let's see what you okay. So this is a Tamara Bonvillain. Is a you said this is a transgender, so I'm supposed to call him her. Okay, her. She says, some of you and several comic companies are still following Bounding into Comics, which is just a Comicsgate news site. Every time they make me the subject of an article, out come the people calling me a or a man. You legitimize them, and it's a slap in the face. Yeah, I'm sorry. I called you a man, too. I do apologize. Well, that's okay. I had no problem with transgenders. They whatever makes you happy, right? I just didn't. You kind of look like a dude, so you got to.
Yeah,
I think we need to work on that a bit, because I've seen
looks
some of
like a
the.
duck. That's the rule.
Well, it is the rule. I mean, because I've seen
Hmm.
some actually quite attractive transgenders, actually. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do apologize. I wasn't intentional. Um, slap in the face. Yeah, no, I mean, leave her be. That doesn't matter. What matters is what she says and does, right? And it sounds like she says
Correct.
and does not nice things. Let's see this one here. D. Kunifi. Let's see, Booster. Why don't you give us one of your great voices on this one?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
You want the Valley one or just a cuck one?
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Cuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Hmm.
right. Hey, if you're a publisher or a comic pro and you are following or retweeting Bounding into Comics, you're perpetuating a comics hate website. Be an
Hey,
ally to your LGBTQAI228QPS7895 HGTRE plus friends and think about who you follow.
oh boy.
That's wasn't that a California zip code in there?
I think so. I think he just knocked himself.
I'm just making sure we cover them all, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Unfollow
I
and
would love to
block.
know
Oh, goodness.
what their is for calling it a Comicsgate website. I think it's just I wouldn't say that's a fair assessment.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So Thundero, since why don't you go ahead and see if you can beat the wonderful Booster in his voices with
Oh
Matthew
boy.
Southworth.
Matthew Southworth. Let's see. What does Matthew Southworth sound like? For some reason, I think Matthew Southworth sounds like this. Pay attention, Bounding into Comics is not a news site. It's the Breitbart of Comicsgate. A shit-boasting propaganda organ for alt-right comic dickheads. Where'd it go? I lost it. If it's posted on Bounding into Comics, it's bullshit.
Wow.
I don't know why. That's just what he sounds like in my head.
Okay. Cool. But I have to make a single note here that Matthew does have himself a female icon, so that's very interesting. Yeah, no, I would say that Bounding into Comics being called the Breitbart of anything would be a huge compliment, and they must be very happy about it. Whether you like Breitbart or not, they are huge, successful, and powerful. So, yeah, good for you, Bounding. You're doing a good job there.
Definitely
Yeah.
huge.
And once again, here's the thing. Now, on this here on this channel, we try to keep the language down. This is not a church service, but we do try to keep it down so we can have everybody involved. But once again, thing we've been mentioning all along, these people cannot stop from cussing and swearing at every opportunity. What is the deal with that?
Mhm.
I
Because
prefer the word vulgar.
vulgar is vulgarity. It's right.
Vulgar. Yeah.
They just need to effing settle down.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Booster. But no, seriously, when I was growing up, my grandparents and my uncles and aunts and parents and everybody, they said that they taught me a very simple thing. When you bring vulgarity into a conversation or debate, you debase yourself. You remove
and you lose.
any authority that you would have. Yeah.
You're already giving
Yeah.
up from the beginning because you show that you don't have a strong argument, and the arguments that you will present are already too weak.
Yeah, no, if you're sitting with your buddies and you're having some beers or your girlfriends and you're playing games or doing whatever, yeah, sure, go right ahead. Cuss away and have fun. Be vulgar as you'd like.
Mhm.
But when you're in a conversation and you're trying to make a statement, especially something where you're trying to slander a company you obviously haven't taken any time to research at all, then you should
Well,
come at it very seriously. You shouldn't be just cussing left and right because it makes you look like a fool.
here's the thing. But this is why they do it, because in their mind, it makes them look normal. Makes them look like a common American who, for some reason, they think are all just really vulgar people who are constantly swearing and saying provocative, let's be diplomatic things. That's why they're doing it. It's kind of like how when you get with your friends, like you were talking about, you talk differently. You don't talk the same as you do in a corporate setting. It's kind of the same thing. It's just a game to them. They think they're talking to the common man, so they have to talk with vulgar language.
I think they think
I
they look
would.
you know?
What was that?
Well, I wouldn't say, like, for instance, what their opinions are and what they're saying here in this. I wouldn't say that they're BS using the big word. I would maybe use the word tripe, right?
Yeah.
Right. We like to use other words that are a nice adjective that lets you know what we think. It's just like tripe. I have a
Yeah.
bigger rant on this if you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure. Just hold it for
Uh,
one second. A couple comments over here in the chat. I think we should add at this moment.
Yeah.
William says that Caitlyn Jenner is the hottest Kardashian. Thank you, William. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Also, we have over here the Maniac Man 2030 says if they bring in all the facts, they're BS. The Comic Pros said. And Adrian says all three of these people could disappear from comics and their absence would make no impact. Wow. That's a statement. Go ahead, DeWolf.
Yeah. So what they're describing here is Twitter. We all know what Twitter is, right? First off, and they're telling everyone else to unfollow and block other people on Twitter, people that they don't agree with. And can we just boil this down to exactly what this means? It means that you have a group of people that are telling even others. I mean, not even for themselves, but even to others. They're saying, I want you not to listen to those folks and their opinions and what they have to say. And from now on, me and the rest of my social group, we want to be ignorant. This is what it's saying. We from here on out, we want to remain ignorant and maybe even block you out so that other people can also remain ignorant of other people's opinions. And honestly, when you boil that down, it shows where they're, what kind of a state they're in, because I don't want to be ignorant. In another word, right? Often little kids would say, "You're stupid," right? They want to be stupid. They want to be ignorant. They don't want more knowledge. They want to remain where they're at in their own foul little world. I want to learn more. For instance, we're looking into this. We're not unfollowing them. We're checking them out. We're seeing what they have to say. It's terrible, but we're getting more knowledge about it. And in time, you're gonna find out. As you go through life, some of us are older than others. What you want is more knowledge, more voices, more freedom, and all these things make a better world, and not a world they want.
Yeah,
they're quite literally the very textbook definition of a bigot. They call everybody else bigots, but that's literally what a bigot is. They shut out anything that
That is
doesn't
the
agree
word
with
we
their
use on the
worldview.
show.
yeah, it is. And I learned something today as well. I learned there's a dude named Tamara Bond Villain who's a colorist and is not very nice. Okay, over here, March here says it's millennial speak. Their vocabulary is as stunted as their arguments. Yes, I've been noticing that. And Jim Healis says, "Hi everyone." Well, hi Jim, and welcome. And William says that I've been mindful of my swearing since becoming part of the community. The Aloha Hour inspires me to be a better person. Yeah, well, I think in general it's just about respecting everyone. There's nothing wrong with vulgarity in the right situation, right? And if that's something you enjoy, then go join and be part of the things that enjoy that. But at the same time, having a venue where everyone can join and have their opinions and share with each other and that everyone feels welcome is best, right? And that's what we're trying to do. And when you start throwing vulgarities and stuff around, it insults some people and it makes them go away, and we don't want to do that. We want everyone to come join and be part of it. So that's all it is. It isn't about saying that don't do that, you're a bad person or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just about being inclusive. Oh, there's that word again. All right.
Which is kind of funny before we jump out of it, is it kind of reminds me of the Democratic convention where Michelle Obama was talking about when they go low, you should go high. Well, it sounds like you only go high if you have a strong point. Otherwise, you're going to just go low regardless. So they're not showing even being true of what their principle are, and most people on that side are actually being even more vocal, being more politically charged, and even more and assaulting people in some cases for basic ideas. So it's kind of interesting on that part as well.
Yeah.
I always have a strong point.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, you do. Um, and Maniac Man. Yeah. No. I understand that cursing can be a reliever for stress. Absolutely. But I think you guys get our point as well. It's just
Then these
if
people must be stressed all the time.
yeah. All right. Well, we have this next little piece of news here, Booster. Booster. What is Kathleen Kennedy doing
Yes.
now?
Kathleen Kennedy, she cancelled Boba Fett.
No. Tell me more.
Isn't Boba Fett that one guy that got smacked by a blind dude and then fell into a little pit that burped?
Yeah, that's that dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Boba Fett. Yeah, that character everyone likes for some reason, who died like an absolute, how do I put it? Pufter.
I love the New Zealand speak. It always is interesting. And of course, behind the scenes, you guys have to understand that Booster is always giving us this great pie information. He is an aficionado, of pie.
It's true.
Yeah.
I know everything about pie. Also, Boba Fett was played by a New Zealander.
He was, yes.
Yes. Well, not in the original
No.
trilogy, mind you,
No.
but prequels. Little Boba was a little Kiwi.
And also
that Kiwi still goes to conventions dressed as Boba Fett in his 20s.
Oh, yes.
Daniel Logan. And he also was in the voice. He also did the voice of Boba Fett inside the Star Wars Clone Wars by Dave Filoni. That's coming back for one more season on it. What's interesting is now they reconfirm that they were going to do a Boba Fett movie, and now it's completely canceled. Because remember, before they were saying no, there was no Boba Fett movie, and hours before, after Solo releases, yeah, we're having a Boba Fett movie with James for Gold and the director of Logan to do this, and now they've reconfirmed. And then later on, they said no, we're not doing it, and now they reconfirm there was a Boba Fett movie, there was some production, there was a director attached, and now it's completely dust settled, dead.
Is anybody
I
sad?
got a little bit of it.
Who's sad? Go ahead, Wolf. Tell us how sad you are.
Well, first off, Jeremy Bulloch was Boba Fett. I'm gonna lay that down, okay? And no one, you can't change my mind on that. Jeremy Bulloch is Boba Fett. In the 90s, we had all these Boba Fett stories, and it's because because he was an interesting character, especially during that Empire Strikes Back era, and how cool he could stand around in Jabba the Hutt's throne room and just exude some form of confidence. No one else was just mess with him even. And you got George Lucas, is interesting. When I say interesting, I don't always mean that as a good thing, by the way. And it's an interesting man, as George Lucas is. When he was looking at how the fans were treating Boba Fett, he decides to say, you know what? I want this character to be killed off, and I want to make sure that he's dead. And so that he's not supposed to be this cool, or whatever thinking it was, and so he did have him killed off, and was upset when they tried to resurrect him through the 90s. And he didn't think that was right to do. He was dead. Han Solo killed him in some wackadoo way. For Kathleen Kennedy to come around and do this, for me, it's more so the idea that we're going to put all that other Star Wars things in the past, because you could still use him in all kinds of different varieties of ways. Not necessarily one of my favorite guys. I don't always need to hang on to a character. I think a good death is a good death.
Mm-hmm.
Except when you're into a giant sand pit
What about
And
that?
you
Was
have
a
all these.
idea? The thing burped after it bloody ate him. He got knocked in there by a blind dude.
This is true,
When you-
dude.
When
It
you've
did.
got missiles and fire,
It was
and
iconic.
rockets
Yeah.
and
But
and
you know,
a Kolob.
I get
Come
your
on,
point,
man.
DeWolf. I
He
mean,
could get
people
out.
have been clamoring for a Boba Fett movie for quite a long time. I never quite understood it. I mean, he's a cool character. I had the little action figure when I was a kid, but people have been clamoring for it, and I'm surprised they aren't going to give it to them. Where I guess instead they're going to give them the female and Mandalorian armor show. So rock on.
I'm not that surprised. The Star Wars is a joke, and they're gonna drive it straight into the ground. And it's probably a good thing that we didn't give them the Boba Fett movie because it would have been bad. Would have been really bad.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
Now, if it was 15 years ago, it might have actually been okay. But you can't trust them. They've just completely destroyed any faith in them you could have had for, especially even side movies like this, just like the Kenobi movies and stuff. No, I'm okay. I'm happy. Thank you. No, thank you. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point as well. Well, we're going to take a
True.
little bit of an interlude here, guys, and we're going to uh, do something that we wanted to do the other day. We have Bugbear's Basement, and on there we just kind of talk about nerd things, and we were doing a comic book review of Craven's Last Hunt. That was a lot of fun. It was very in depth. Everyone had so many great opinions and such great love for that series, a 6-part series in Spider-Man.
It was
really.
It was a book report. I think we would have gotten top grades.
Yes, we would have. It was a very good
Mm.
book report. It was very in depth. But what we wanted to do is we want to give away Craven's Last Hunt trade paperback as a giveaway. And we got 28 people in here now, so we'd love to do that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take ourselves a little bit of a in-chat vote here, and we're going to give away Craven's Last Hunt, the trade paperback. We're going to send it to and get information from whoever wins later. So what we're going to do is
I'll happily accept that.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Booster. I don't think you
No.
qualify. You know.
What?
All right. So what we're going to do is very simple. When I say go, I want everybody in the chat to just start pressing the P button over and over for a prize. Just keep pressing it over and over and over and over. And what I'll do is I can hit a freeze button over here and it will freeze. And I'll take the very bottom one, and that person will get this shipped out to them, and we'll get your contact information later. We think it'll be fun. We want to do more giveaways. I think it's a fun community thing to do, which is one of the reason why we put in the Streamlabs donation button down below. That is down there. If you guys are interested in doing more giveaways and supporting that, that's what we want to gather money to do instead of it just taking money out of our pocket all the time. So if you guys want to get involved in that, please do. But go ahead and start just throwing P up. Just keep spamming the chat with it. You're actually given permission to spam the
Just
chat here.
spam P all over the chat, lads.
Just
Pee all over the place.
just pee everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't plan that either. That was completely accidental.
That is intense.
Mm.
I tell you what, this Craven the Last Hunt, it is intense. It is mind blowing. It will get Spider-Man and Craven inside your skull.
It is a great book.
Oh
yeah.
man, what a story!
All right, here we go. Start hitting it faster, guys. Faster, faster, faster. And I will freeze it. All right, there it goes. There it goes. And I'm not looking, and I freeze it. All right, so Trusty Sidekick has won. All right, Trusty Sidekick. Now,
your P was the strongest.
Your P was the best and the most clear of any potential evidence that the police might want. So Trusty Sidekick, please do us a favor and contact us on Facebook. Our contact information is down below. You can contact me directly at Chester C. Busby III, actually, and I will get your contact information and we'll send that straight out to you. Excellent. We've been wanting to do that for a couple of shows, and we had enough people in here to do it, so that's really exciting, and I'm happy you guys did that. And the Pope Rim says boo. Well, okay, sorry. No way. Yes, Trusty. Yes way. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you very much for letting us do that. Like I said, we've been wanting to get that done for a few days, and now we have. And congratulations to Trusty Sidekick. Everyone give him a little bit of a clap. All right. Good claps. Lots of claps.
Yay!
Yay! All right, guys. So thank you very much, and let's go ahead and continue with our news. Now, the next little bit with news we have is this is kind of interesting here, Denelli. This is a news report reveals Marvel's films for 2020. Hmm. Anything interesting in here, you think?
They're doing a Black Widow. They're doing the Eternals, and they're holding off on the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
And it might not be on, and it might not even have it because he still said Kevin Feige that's still on hold.
Yeah, no, we're
that,
not
so.
we're not really sure about the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's funny. We're not really sure about the Guardians of the Galaxy. But we do know the two we can talk about is Black Widow and the Eternals. Now, I think the Black Widow one is the probably quickest to get out of the way. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Black Widow. I've enjoyed Scarlett Johansson in the role, but isn't she really a little bit old to be doing a Black Widow movie? I mean, that's
No.
okay.
As long as people bring,
I'm
if
sorry.
she continues to bring people in, they'll continue having her as Black Widow. I know people been clamoring for her to have a Black Widow for years, and it really depends if it's a good like story, like Winter Soldier, kind of that framework. I think that would be awesome. But if they do it like a Jennifer Lawrence Red Sparrow, then we're looking at an epic mess right there.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask my wife's opinion while you guys give yours. So hold on a second. Baby, Black Widow movie. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you interested in seeing that? No, it's coming. Is that something you want or no? Yeah, thumbs down. That was quick. All right.
Oh.
So my wife doesn't like it.
There's just something about the way Scarlett Johansson scowls that bothers me. It's just like, oh, honey, stop it. You look silly. You look scary.
And besides, I think the other point that I haven't made on that is she can't carry a movie by herself. She's a good background character. She's a good support character. She does that fine. But she cannot carry a movie on her own.
Well, yeah, she's proved it that time and time again. Ghost in the Shell, Lucy,
I don't even think Black Widow can carry a movie by herself, to be honest. The character. It's just not... It doesn't have that value. It doesn't have that market value at all. It would need an incredible actress to overcome its weakness as a character, and she just isn't that. She's not a bad actress. She's just not. She's not going to be the Megan Thal that they think she is.
She's really good at being that support character. She's very good at that, actually. Yeah. But anyway, so that Black Widow is I think a very quick thing. You either like it or you don't. Next, but the next one, now that one.
Yeah, hold on. I got another opinion.
Oh goodness. Ooh. Go ahead.
All right. The opinion. What is the opinion?
It would be awesome.
All right. Well, I'm outvoted. I'll tell my wife. There's a little 10-year-old girl that said it'd be awesome, so we're wrong, baby. Sorry about that.
That's the thing that's happening now.
Well, it's cool that someone has to do for it.
Never yeah. And then Avenger the other. What are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Boy, she went off.
That was awesome.
Wow.
All right. Well, we're outvoted, guys. We're getting a Black Widow movie, whether we like it or not. Awesome. All right.
Dazzler says it would be awesome. I'm on the fence there. I think that it would be great for a like a Marvel 2-in-1. They used to do those, and they bring in two characters, and it just advances the story so much more.
It would be kind of cool if they had Hawkeye in there, because they're supposed to have a camaraderie partners before, so that could easily be tied in together. Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yeah. Well, no, they could do a lot with it. I just don't know. I'm just not particularly interested in it because I know her. And I like her. I like Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she does her progressive stuff, but they all do. It's kind of like they have to. It's in the contract or something. But yeah, I just don't think she can handle. She can carry a movie herself. But it looks like we're going to find out. So And if it, hey, you never know, might be good. But the one I really want to talk about, guys, is the Eternals,
Cosmic X-Men team.
dude. Um, First of all, for a little bit of background on the Eternals, we will go to the Denali Lama. Namaste. Denali.
Sorry, I muted myself for a moment. So yeah, the Eternal, the cosmic. That's how I could say it. The cosmic team, X-Men team that um, Feige is hoping if they didn't get the X-Men into the MCU with the buyout, but which will happen. But they're basically a fictional race of humanity. Um, and it's been created by Jack Kirby.
Hmm.
Again, another creation of Jack Kirby that that's coming from the big leagues. So, and they have the power granted by the celestial beings, and they protect the Earth and they fight in space, so to speak. Um, it's like so much to unpack with that. But the Eternals are awesome. I'm looking way forward with it. Um, I'm trying to keep it simple because we could spend several hours of just talking about the backgrounds, about them, their tie-ins with the Kree and Skrulls, the tie-in with the Inhumans, um, you know, the Fourth World. It's
No, there's
it
a
could be
lot.
their own
Yeah.
it could be their own separate MCU universe, just dealing with the Eternals.
Well, of course,
With some
they're a celestial creation. They were created by the Celestials, um,
yeah.
and they, I do believe, although they're the Eternals, origin and where we got, but the Titan, the Mad Titan Thanos, he is an Eternal. So it's I'd really like to see it. I think it'd be interesting story, be something very different. Comic book fans know, but the general audience does. But that's good. Look what happened to Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, most comic book readers didn't know who they were. Only us ultra geeks who read that stuff. But when they brought
Mhm.
it out, it was an unknown element. But boy, it hit like a hammer. And I would love to see the Eternals do the same way. What do you think, Thunder? And you know anything about the Eternals?
I don't know much about them, but I think you're right. I think the unknown properties can actually help them a lot, like it did with Guardians of the
Hmm.
Galaxy,
Yeah.
and like it has done with some others even back in the '90s, less popular superheroes getting movies and things, and it helps because it doesn't have as much baggage.
Mm.
People don't have as many expectations going in, and they can just have fun. And I think, plus, they can have more fun in the movie because the fan base isn't as large, and you don't get as much crying about it if they change things too much. So
Right,
I think
right, yeah.
it probably helps them with that aspect, and it's easier to market. You don't have to worry about messing the marketing up as much, and there's just a lot of positives,
Yeah,
really.
there are. Exactly. What do you think, DeWolf? Or better yet, what does Dazzler Girl think? Her opinion is more important.
she's she's off to go off out and about. You know, yeah, just all your points are great there. The cosmic aspect to me compared to Guardians of the Galaxy also is that they would be more serious and a more intense movie that's also cosmic without as much as the whimsical, you know.
Mm,
And then you got the fact that they are different, right? Because here Titan was originally, or it is, a moon of Saturn, so they made it the moon of Saturn. We now know that the MCU has changed that. It's an entire planet that's Titan. And so that's going to change things up a little bit. But having that cosmic aspect, I think, is really cool because it also maybe branches out into some other characters that deal with cosmic energies and cosmic things to have to deal with them, because not all of the Eternals are even good. You've got some Eternals that actually side together with the Avengers and portray the so-called heroics, and then you've got the ones that are evil, and do some bad stuff. So you need some really strong characters, maybe that could input into the MCU. The artwork that you have, there's Doctor Strange, there's Thor here, also Adam Warlock. right there in the middle of that particular piece of art. You know, we know that he's possibly coming in.
Yeah, but I think that's
and
screwed
so
up now, right? They introduced him at the end of Last Guardians. I think it's screwed up.
Well, the writer of those movies said he's coming, or maybe it was the director, but somebody who had the power to actually make that happen said that absolutely is Adam Warlock and he's absolutely coming.
Oh.
They just already had Avengers or the Infinity War planned without him in it, so it is kind of screwed up, but they could still pull it off.
That was James Gunn who said Adam Warlock, and I think he said he was going to introduce him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
For that.
But they are
so that could be
they're still carrying the
now we don't get
script of it,
Silver
right?
Surfer.
As far as we know, that's the plan. And I'd be very surprised if they just completely dismissed that storyline they set up. They haven't done that yet.
But
so I'd be very
I hope
surprised.
so, because I want to see Adam Warlock. I'm sorry, go ahead, DeWolf.
Well, also in this particular frame, you got Silver Surfer, which we can't have because of the Fantastic Four. But behind Silver Surfer, even there's a character. He's drawn much smaller. That's because of the big role he could play as being Quasar. When you tie that into the cosmic entities that could possibly come about, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And that actually, because now they can actually make Silver Surfer, or whenever that takes effect. There's a lot of Silver Surfer fans. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a Silver Surfer solo movie eventually. He's a pretty popular character.
He is. I love Silver Surfer. I love to see
almost as popular as Quasar. Yeah.
All right. I absolutely have to go read Quasar because I don't know much about him other than the bio. Just to see what DeWolf is on, because he loves him some Quasar, man. But over here in the chat, we got a couple things going on. William says that he thinks the ladies need a good female, cool, butt-kicking hero without superpowers. He's either saying that seriously or he's being sarcastic. Yeah, no, I would love a great movie. I just don't think Scarlett can pull it off. But trust in Feige,
Sadly.
I say. Sadly, yeah. But now we're coming up to the top of the hour here, and in the first hour we try to keep it light and have some fun and joke around and stuff. But now we're about to get serious, folks.
It's getting super serious, guys.
I'm sorry about that. I do apologize for the seriousness, but the seriousness is coming, and it's coming in the face of something that I personally don't understand why this nonsense keeps going on. And Denali's going to help us out because he is a Denali Lama, and he's going to smooth our souls and take away our stress and tell us here we have a Facebook DM that is being presented to us by Michael Moody, but it's not from Michael Moody. Who is this? And tell us about this, Denali, please.
So he's presenting and sharing this information from Shannon Pierce, who used to be in a partnership with her significant other, and they were opening up a comic book store. And at the end, Mark Waid muscled in and kind of destroyed the whole thing. But instead of summarizing it, I could just read it all, and everybody could decide for themselves.
Yes, I think that would be best.
So from Shannon Pierce, she wrote, "I've gone back and forth on this very personal post. I'm seething with so much rage, I have to let it out. I'm done pretending it didn't happen. The NDA has been up for years, and I never had to sign a Mark Waid. This man got into business with us. He created a partnership for a comic book store that was never technically legalized. When his POS girlfriend decided she wanted Jason gone, he sided with her, knowing it was wrong. When it got bad and we finally lawyered up, we were told, do you have tens of thousands of dollars? Because he does. He's going to drag this out in court. We can win, and we will, but that's what you're going to owe in fees. Can you cover that? Because he can. I know his lawyer, and he's giddy at the prospect. We let the store go. 10 years of my best friend's life was gone. 10 years of hard work, realizing a dream was ripped away from him. And to add insult to injury, he left the store with 150,000 in annual sale, 100,000 in products and fixtures, and Mark paid him less than 5,000 to shut his mouth and walk away. That was our reality. A rich, recognized, wealthy white man wanted more and took it. Robbed the little guy, smeared his name, took his business, and a year later broke up with the girlfriend and signed it all over to her like it didn't even happen. He ran, literally. He flew across the country and ran from his problems. He throws money around or he runs and hides. We always heard about his temper. We didn't realize the reality. If you don't believe me, there is a 911 tape out there of Jason calmly calling the cops while Mark is screaming bloody murder, destroying the store in the background. Fact. Now I don't know all the details of this lawsuit and I don't really care. What I do know is Mark Temper got him in another situation, and he's using his popularity and fan to take money from hardworking people to fund his lawsuit. He absolutely does not need your money. He absolutely deserves what's coming to him.
Well,
It's
with
heavy
that,
stuff, man.
that is. But what
Not
an
bad.
interesting little thing. And that, of course, brings us into this. Now, I haven't refreshed this in an hour or so, so let's refresh and see how we're doing over here with money for Mr. Wade, who desperately seems to think that he needs it, which we just
Oh
found out
no.
he doesn't. And we're going to take this little article here and we're going to use this to start our transition into our next segment here, which is a conversation about Comicsgate as a whole. How are things going? How are things doing? We've been going at this for a couple of 2 3 months hard. We over here have been at what 6 7 weeks or so. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check. But this has been going on for a few months, and we're going to take a look at how things are, how things are shaping up. We're going to look at the good, and we're going to look at the bad too. And this, I think, is a great place to start that conversation because Mark Wade is exactly why I'm here. And I think he's why a lot of us are here, particularly in this community. Because, like with me, as I said before, I was watching several art streams and comic book shows just because I like comic books, right? So I was watching Jim Lee and I was watching Ethan's little portfolio reviews, and and I also was watching Captain Cummings. And Captain Cummings referred me over to Richard Meyer. And I went check Richard, and I was part of that and saw that whole growth. And he just became this huge YouTuber, and then the whole Jawbreakers thing came. Guys, you know the story. But when Mark Wade and his goons went over there and intimidated um, Antarctic Press out of publishing Jawbreakers for Richard, that just made me mad. And that's why I'm here. That's what motivated me to be involved. I want to do something. I want to contribute to what's going on. And I think a lot of you feel the same way. That's why we've adjusted our schedules. We've adjusted our budgets. We've done all these things to support this community. So let's take a look and see exactly how this community is doing and how we can improve it. And maybe some of the things we need to, as it were, cut the fat. But it certainly starts with this gentleman. And I do want to say the same thing I said yesterday. By the way, he chose that picture. That is his choice. He put that up. All right.
Well, we can definitely say he has a problem with making good choices. We'll
He
put it
does.
as diplomatically as possible.
Yeah. But another thing, before we get into it, we'll talk a little bit about this as before we get into that broader conversation. But
I would just love to point out the share to donation ratio. 7,000 shares and 900 people have raised that. That's they're really trying to spread the hell out of this, and you know what they've raised. It's impressive, and they've also averaged at $40, which matches our Indigron numbers as well.
it does.
It's
It
just
does. Now it's by mentioning that number, 38,000 is sitting there, and I think it will grow some. It seems to have slowed down quite a bit. But it is not a small amount of money. It is interesting. This is certainly the kind of mid-level Indiegogos that we are seeing in our community is about the same amount of money. So it's impressive unto that. But of course, the whole thing about it, which we talked about once again, oh, that picture. Um, But here, we went through this yesterday. We're not going to go through that whole thing again, where he's basically just blaming us for attacking him, which, of course, that is the opposite of the truth. And of course, he is the great white knight defender of all the alphabet people in the world. Those LG, I can't do it. Booster's
Thank
much
you,
better at it.
Mark. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mark Wade,
Thank
with
you,
your
Mark.
strong, broad, white shoulders. You strong white man.
Yeah.
These poor brown people would not be able to do anything without you. You absolute sunbeam of hope and glory. And I want to punch you.
Goodness, yeah. Well, let's take a look at who is backing him here. And you guys mentioned, I know I've learned a lot of names over the past few months, but we have the Denali Lama here, and of course we understand his encyclopedic knowledge. So you guys recognize the name here? Call it out. Normal people don't matter, just the ones that are big in the industry, please. We have an anonymous. I recognize that.
Anonymous is quite famous.
Now, how about Nick Barucci? He put some money down. Do we know who he is? No?
Mm.
Just seeing who's Wendy Wade. No, don't recognize them.
I've seen quite a few disappointing ones. I've seen James Tinney has donated to it, as has Tim Seeley.
Yeah, I'm not now. Keep in mind, we're not calling anybody out
Benjamin.
here. I just want to see the big names that are up here, supporting Mark with their money. Right?
Oh, James McKenna. Wow.
You know him?
We had.
Yeah, Nick Bachuli. It's actually working with Dynamite Entertainments.
So we also had Peter Tomasi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go down. Just Grimlock King. No problem, man. We want to keep the vulgarity in the chat to a reasonable level, man. But no problems. Just keep that in mind. All right. So okay, I'm sorry. I'm coming down here. Just call them out as I scroll down to the ones the known people, please. Well, how about this big? That's a big chunk of money. $300. Mark Evanier. He's definitely fighting the Nazis, man.
You're going to see
people that donate money straight to Richard Meyer once he wins this case. That was nice of him. Set him up with his nice little fund.
I wonder how they'll feel about that if their money went to Richard Meyer.
That would be Johnson. That sounds familiar.
Does it? Ethan Johnson.
I'm sorry. That's Ethan Van Sciver. Oh yeah, what am I thinking? That I tried. That was almost a joke.
All right. Well, I mean, you're thinking maybe of the football player.
No, I was just trying to make a joke, dude.
Yeah.
Is that Joe Glass? Is that the Joe Glass? I wonder.
That'd be funny.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. Just call them out if you guys recognize any names, we're not, and once again, we're not calling out normal people. You do whatever you want to do. You're wrong, but do what you want to do.
You have the right to spend your money however you like.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the funny thing, Thundero just made the joke, but he's right. What they're doing is they're paying Richard Meyer. That's where this money's going to go.
Oh yeah.
So and it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Do we know why? Have we covered that?
Why is it wrong? Because it's he's making a claim that he's being falsely accused, and a lawsuit that is ridiculous and false against him because he was just defending people and he is being attacked. And we know that's not true.
Yeah.
In truth, what he did is he went and attacked a publisher for daring to do something that he said shouldn't be done. There was no attacking from anybody on him on this situation. It was him doing all the attacking. That's why they're wrong. And the problem is they're just listening and believing, listen and believe, which is one of the dumbest things I've heard in my life, maybe. Listen, you don't ever listen and believe. Here's the thing.
So
everybody
lies. Hold on. Everybody lies. Everybody lies. Now, some of us lie through exaggeration. Some of us lie because we're jagoffs, right? And there's many ways with the reason why people laugh and lie and do all the kind of nonsense that they do. And if you're not going to bother to take time to find out exactly what you're putting money to, well, then you're a moron. But hey, If you want to be a moron, that's your right. You have a right to that. You're free to make those choices. But it's just complete nonsense with this Mark Waid guy and these people throwing their money at it. And they hadn't bothered to even look at it, because if you looked at it for half a second, you would realize that, one, it's at minimum fishy, and two, it's completely wrong, because that's not what happened. That's not what took place, and it's completely and absolutely documented on the internet, and it's not hard to find. Sorry, rant.
Yeah. The interference, it's called tortious interference, when a third party who has no business being involved gets involved with two other parties' business relations, and that's what Mark Waid did, and that's why he's being sued for, along the other things as well. But that's the main point. And basically, just pulling up from EVS, from his own tweet, the lawsuit comes down to this: Zach is living for his right to be able to earn a living and enter a contract to publish his comics. Waid is fighting for his right to keep Zach from being able to earn a living and enter a contract to publish his. And that's what those people, and I don't want to say those people, these individuals, are doing. It's that they're supporting Mark Waid in saying, hey, because I'm Mark Waid and I'm an industry veterans, and if I don't agree with you, I can stop you from making money. So they're taking people, so they're siding with people with the side that says you can't do anything in this industry because I know people to stop you.
Oh,
and I'll harass any publisher, any company, any printer, anything that's willing to have a business relationship with you.
Ooh,
and that's what he did.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lawsuit for hey, after all that, yeah, okay, sounds legit.
Yeah, no. And Pope Raven does have a comment here. Pope Raven says that he, Kashi, the mystery still continues. I see James Gibson donated. Yeah, I thought I saw James Gibson in there somewhere as well. James Gibson gave $25, I thought. Is that what you saw?
I don't think I saw James Gibson donate. I don't know who this mystery man James Gibson is. I don't think James Gibson, man of mystery, and I'm sure he's well endowed as well.
Yeah.
And has regular sized arms and legs. I don't think he donated at all.
And it's not particularly hairy at all, right?
Nah, I'm sure
not particularly.
There's a rumor he's a good looking guy. We can't substantiate that at all.
Handsome, lovely man. And Abyss says that he is triggered. Okay. But let's take, we don't want to spend too much more time on this because I'm sure we'll be coming back to this every day. But let's just look at a few comments here that are going on before we continue the conversation into Comicsgate as a whole. We have JW here says, Mark makes way more money than I do, so he can pay his own legal fees. Yeah, well, we read a little Facebook thing from that other guy before that states the very same thing. Booster, why don't you take a couple of these, men?
Oh, a couple of these? All right. I don't want racists and misogynists and transphobes harassing people anymore. I want the white nationalists. I want the nationalists to have any influence in the world. Is it I want the white nationalists to have any influence in the world? Oh, wow. Derek Hunskin, we need to have a talk.
It's
a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, dude. And of course, they do this kind of nonsense, don't they? They don't pay attention. But then again, autocorrect does bug me as well. But the one up above, though, Booster, Nick Barucci, which we saw dropped a big chunk of money. Mark is one of the most stand-up guys I know. All right. I don't think the evidence supports you, but go ahead. Yeah, continue, Booster. Let's give us a couple more, man.
All right. The racist bullies. Mark is a great writer and an even better SJW. Also, comics bait.
He censored himself. Bless his heart.
That's his heart. Yeah.
Comicsgate.
I don't see John Young.
Mark.
Let's win this one, Mark. Oh, here's what is good.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it's Joe Glass. Joe Glass.
Go at him, Booster. Go at him.
All right. Let's do this one. Hello. I donated because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. The accuser in this frivolous and ridiculous case is trying to harm someone's career and finances through an absurd attack on their character when the things they claim not to be are demonstrably true. Richard C. Meyer is a homophobe, a bigot, a misogynist, and his constant harassment and disgusting behavior must be fought back against. Go get him, Marky. Mwah.
Yeah, that deserves a clap. That's a clap right there. All right. Yeah, baby. Yeah,
You know what?
baby.
I could really go for a misogynist because my shoulders have been getting tight
Yeah, you're
recently,
Yeah.
and my neck's been hurting, and I'm like, man, does anybody know a good misogynist?
I don't know. I'll check. We have the shiatsu misogynist here. They're pretty good, I hear.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was great, Booster, man. Thank you. But yeah, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And we will have more joyous fun with that later. But what we need to do is just go into the conversation we were talking about, and we will come back to that later, maybe if you guys like. But I think we need to move on. So let me just come back over here. And all right, guys, let's talk about the state of affairs in Comicsgate, man.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah. So, DeWolf,
Yeah.
why don't you start this out for us, sir?
Yeah, certainly. You know, it's been a while now. You know, we've been going on through this for months and months, and you know, many of us were just drug over here, kicking and screaming by Ethan Van Sciver, ranting and raving about Star Wars. You know, and how the episode, which shall not be named, just destroyed things for us, and we've been getting involved. It's been quite a ride. I mean, look at this ride right here. I mean, matter of fact, the vast hour, right? Hour and a bit now. You know, we've been going on talking about comics, and for us, let me focus on me because I'm important. We've been getting into comics, right? We've been going over right, The Last Hunt of Craven and all these things. You know, the community, you know, we have built so much, and this is FanSpeak, and this is, you know, we wanted to do more of that, you know, get together with the fans because we spent so many months listening to, you know, Ethan. And then after Ethan, he led me into listening to Mike, right? And then there was Mitch Breitweiser. He was on there for a while, and now he's gone. And that's what I wanted to do with this piece. I wanted to take all the panel and the chat, of course, and say, you know, what are some big things that have stood out? Because there's just so many different aspects that have come, some that have been gone. And we got memes. We developed our own memes and community things. And some of the guys are doing, you know, new things and different things. And I thought it would be fun to just go through some of those and kind of get some general impression on what we like and what we don't like, and when we see them doing certain things. And to do so, I thought maybe if we hit IndieCron, because right, we always talk about IndieCron.
Sure.
And
I'll set it up.
like at the bottom, right?
While I'm doing that, why don't you guys go ahead and say the various things that you you know, what do you feel about the overall here that's going on while I set that up?
Yeah, the overall general impression. Yeah, Denali.
Yeah, I was going to say right now we're in a kind of waiting phase because we're waiting for, you know, the first initial reaction of the fulfilled books that are coming out. I think everybody who ordered Stardust have a chance to read it. People have gotten Blue Mamba. People have received Iron Sights. I've received Iron Sights just today. And some other books as well that right now I'm blanking on. The Bull, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's coming out. That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, we're waiting and we're getting this first offering, we're reading, and we're, you know, excitedly waiting for the next release. And, you know, like it starts, you know, we're keeping the promises that, you know, the creator is saying, if you support us, we're going to give you the books and the products. And now we're just in that phase where we're showing that, and they're being more attackive. I see from external forces as well, from the other side, since the fulfillment's happening and kind of belittling it, us, because they're afraid of what we're up against. But I also notice, aside of that, that we're starting to feel out each creators, and we're slowly gravitating to those creators more and more often, and building smaller communities within the larger community as well. As you mentioned before, Chester and Todd, that EVS is kind of the hub that's kind of spinning the wheel around. I think it's, the larger communities are starting to refine their taste, like everything happens. It's a consumer movement, and they're going and then finding the artist that really speaks to them. They'll come back to EVS, to see, what's going on, to get the broader sense, but they're going to those, following Mitch Breitweiser more closely with his books that are coming out. He's doing Red Rooster, but he's also starting to promote the Futurists. You have Mike Miller, and he's talking about, 3 different projects, deciding if he wants to go with God Swords, or if he wants to do the nuclear Atomic Family. Sorry, I'm still with the nuclear family, but Atomic Family, and also, fulfilling and finishing up Lone Star, his initial one, and he just made the 6-figure as well. So that's another artist that's made it. And then we're also seeing, the smaller ones like RT Bear and Gary Shipman, fulfilled their gain the goals of their campaigns and everything, but they're slowly building consistent communities, and that's something that we definitely it would be a good topic for the show. But since we're just doing the overview of affairs of right now, it's slowing down, but it's reforming underneath.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, Thundaro, man. What's your overall image of what's going on in Comicsgate, man?
Overall, I think there's some fatigue, but that's mainly just because all the main books are still not in our hands yet. The only one that really is so far is Iron Sights. The rest of them are coming. Some of them aren't even done yet. But overall, I think there's just some fatigue. I think there's a little fatigue in the community just because, they pushed really hard for so long. And I think as things just start to level off, like he was just saying, the foundations are being relaid and resettling, and we're going to have some more than just EVS and just Richard Meyer as pillars as they slowly build themselves up as far as they can attract people. Like just the other day on Drawn and Quartered, there was like 800 people watching it, which is really good for how small Mike's channel is. So I think you're going to slowly start to see it start to shift to being a wider net, and it's going to become more like the only term I can think of would be more like a genre. When this is kind of our genre, this is what we talk about, this is what we do, and of course they're going to keep making books. Once the bigger guys, EVS and Mitch, and if Richard C. Meyer does do more books, which I think he plans on it, start putting out more books and start hyping them, it'll start to really kick off and grow again, and you'll start to see that lull kind of fade away. Right now, we're just kind of like it's almost like if you go to work, we were in work before, now we're just kind of on vacation. We're just all kind of just slowing down a little bit, waiting for the books. EVS is trying to finish up Cyber Frog. As far as I know, Mike has Lone Star pretty much done. Stuff like that. So we're just kind of in that holding position, I guess would be a good way to call it. Waiting for the next big thing to throw our money behind. I have a sneaking suspicion that's not going to be till next year, probably late January, but that's fine. I think that's fine. The holidays are coming up, and for the most part, this is mostly a really family-oriented group, so I think that's probably for the best.
It's interesting that you bring up the aspect of the lull, because we're actually seeing a different kind of creation from the creators, because we are in the lull of getting the comic, versus the campaign. Mm-hmm. And that's where this YouTube, stuff has really started to move a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked you to bring up Intron. If you scroll down, because I want to save some of that chat about Ethan for a little bit later.
Sure.
because he is a $600,000 man.
Brewster's impressions as well.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh crap, where was I? Sorry, I dazed off for a minute. I'm sorry, lads.
We want your overall impression of the state of affairs for Comicsgate. You're just overall, and we'll get into more. DeWolf's going to give us more specific points to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, what are we at? $2.2 million total funding is incredible, right? And it just keeps going up and up more and more. And every time I think that surely we're going to run out of money to send these people, we keep getting more of our guys into the six-figure zone. And we get more and more talent that come onto Ethan's show, and the money floods in with them as well. Like, people are loving the look of that. What was it? Battle Maiden bomb, was it?
Knuckle bomb?
The thickness.
Yes. Knuckle bomb, of course, thickness with the ladies. And that Earthbound comic looks great as well. I love that art style. I don't think I've actually talked about that one, but I love that art style, that movement, that flow of movement that just shines on every panel. That one looks fantastic. And Asami, of course, another hit success. It didn't, make like the 10,000 or anything, but for a little comic that just got a little exposure, it made its mark of $5,000. It's excellent. And we're seeing T-Bird and Throttle go up. I really hope that one meets its goal before it closes.
Yeah, so do I. I love the look of that book a lot. Yeah.
It's a little frightening to see Mark Waid get that much money. Sure, I'm not going to lie. It's a bit concerning. But
yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
We're still the lads with the money, and we're the ones who actually support comics. Never forget that. They're only supporting trying to silence us. That's where their money goes to.
That's true. All right. Well, DeWolf, take it away, man.
And just to interject, we are looking at IndieCron for those who are listening later or just listening through our podcast. That's IndieCron.com. So,
IndieCron is our sponsor of FanSpeak, and that link is right down below with all the other links. So definitely go check it out. And of course, over here in the chat, Doom has linked it for us. So thank you very much, Doom.
So I'm looking at some of the bigger, maybe I guess community concepts of this. We've covered. Thundero did a great job of covering the idea behind these comics, and that we're waiting on them. And we're, oh my goodness, we just want to have those fun things in our hands and get them into our eyes. So if you scroll up slightly and get away from that huge number at the bottom, really, I mean, we don't need to see that all the time of how much we're able to back these guys. But if you scroll back up some, and I think the first guy that I know that is streaming that I see in the list is Gary. Gary Shipman.
Yeah, right here.
Gary's awesome.
Yeah.
Gary's
an
awesome person.
Yeah. So Gary on his streams, in the past couple of nights, he's been doing giveaways. Right. I mean, how cool is this guy? I so enjoy, going. He's very, very low key. He's not high energy and whatnot. And not everybody likes that. We like to go in and he's sketching. He has a sketchbook out. He's sketching. He'll ask the chat something, and he'll draw that character, right then and there, while maybe taking a break away from a bigger piece of commission that he's doing or something. And he's been doing giveaways. He'll take either someone in the chat or a backer, and he'll just randomly be giving away prints. And I don't see too many of the other artists doing this. There may be some. You guys might want to, if you do know about them, give them a shout out, because that is so cool. Earlier in the chairman's time, I spoke about that, building trust and building relationship. When I get something, when you throw me a bone, that's more like flowers and candy. You've just come home and said, darling, here's some flowers and candy. Who doesn't like that? It is so awesome. Anybody else got some good things about Gary?
No,
his, live streams.
He really interacts with all the people who jumps in his chat. He builds a community. He knows the people who keeps showing up, and he calls them out, and he's always excited. It's a hallmark of, what Gary's personality is, that he's like, I look forward to jumping on live stream with you guys. and you guys make it better. And I hopefully I make your day better with my drawings, and being here. So thank you. And I can appreciate that. I'm a person who values community, values relationship. So when a person is very grateful for the people spending their time, spending their energy, and getting to know Gary, and Gary, acknowledging that, that's an awesome person to back and follow up with.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
uh,
Gary's he's a really good dude. I really like his entire, I guess the best way to put it is vibe. He's just really relaxed and he doesn't seem to let things get to him. It's fun to watch.
yeah, Gary's a wonderful guy. Uh, very happy to have him in the community. So with Gary, it's a very, very positive influence with us, right? I mean, he's a nice Christian man, and his book is very much geared toward families and children, and it's a very nice addition. And we want more of that, of course. And it's really nice because you can change exactly how we got to him. We were watching Ethan. Ethan introduced us to Mike, and Mike introduced us to Gary. So this is a wonderful thing about how the community has connected itself and broadened itself out with the pros. And then down here with us, on the fan side of the community, you're seeing a lot of creativity that is exploding. You're seeing people doing live streams, and I remember I was sitting over on Gary's channel actually, and someone had said to me, had sent a link to my YouTube, and I got a thing. It says you have a new subscriber, and I was like, I don't have a channel. So I went and checked it out and was like, wow, I do have a channel. I guess you just automatically get it with YouTube. And then someone else went and subbed to my channel for some reason in the community. And they said, hey, Chester, I just subbed to you, but hey, put some content up there, man. What are you doing? So I was like, oh, all right, I will put some content up. But little things like that are happening, and look at all the creativity that's coming out. Look at this channel right here, just with us. I mean, we're a small channel, and I do appreciate all of you coming here and giving us your time and chatting with us and interacting with us and helping us grow. And but we've been doing this about 6 weeks or so, we said, right? And we've grown so quickly, even though we're still small. We've grown so quickly, and that's just because it's a bunch of fans that want to be involved, want to help out, and we're not the only ones doing it. It's all over the place, right? And this is a very positive aspect of what's happening in the community and growth within the community. And Gary Shipman is certainly part of the positivity of it. So, DeWolf, since we're talking about this wonderful positivity of Gary, would you like to talk about something that isn't so positive?
Oh, no. What do you? I don't know what you're insinuating. I know. I was scrolling up to find out who might be our next streamer within the list, and I actually found what Iron Sights is the next one up here, and that's Richard C. Meyer.
Mhm.
And honestly, I did not know of Richard C. Meyer beforehand, so I had to find out from once again that other track, and then find out who he was. Sub to him later, and watch some of his comics, and it was kind of funny because I went, wait, what is this guy's doing? He's and is that like that's a bedspread or something, And then I realized, hey, what he does, and whether he's low key, makes bad jokes, or however you want to take him, at the same time, he's giving some interesting commentary there. So I found out later on who he was, and now, of course, his community's absolutely changed from being a channel with doing reviews to now doing comic books. And that is a huge, he has probably made one of the biggest changes, I think, of anyone that could possibly be involved in this community.
No,
What you think?
Yeah. Oh, I think so, but I'll make a quick point and let the other guys comment on that. But now the interesting thing about Richard is he absolutely kicked this off without question. I mean, there were people like
Yeah.
Hmm.
David Ernst, I think his name is, Tim
Doug.
Lim, of course, Captain Cummings. Edwin has been doing this for a long time. A lot of people might just associate Edwin with just finding him for the first time with Mike, but Edwin's been doing this a long time, fighting against this, and all those guys were doing their thing, but it didn't grow, it didn't catch. It wasn't until Richard had hit that right note and got everyone involved and pulled this community together. And Ethan jumped on board, and everyone else came after Ethan, joining him as well. So Richard is vitally important, but you have to keep something in mind, and this might be considered a negative point. Richard is the trailblazer, but he is not the leader. And he has made it very clear he doesn't want to be the leader. I think a lot of people wanted him to be the leader at the beginning, but he's made it very clear he's not interested in leading anything. So you could see that as a negative, I guess. But I don't really care. For me, he blazed that trail, and look what has come after it. Because you have to give him 100% credit for that. So thank you very much, Richard Meyer. Right.
Well, there's also the fact that while he was blazing that trail, sadly, he did burn some things he probably shouldn't have.
He did.
But he kind of didn't have a choice because those things were eventually going to get in the way anyway. And somebody had to have the courage to be the bad guy for a while. And he did that. He was not afraid to be provocative and say things that people would find offensive. And that's important. You need somebody to come in there sometimes, not all the time, and just be that guy to say things that are maybe true from a certain perspective, maybe not true, but rustle people's jimmies. Let's put it that way. And he was not afraid to do that. One of the other things is he is kind of the strange thing right now is he's kind of off on his own. He's still Comicsgate, but he's kind of in his own. He's got such a big following. He's his own a man unto himself. No one's like put him over there. He just kind of wants to be that way, and that's perfectly fine. One of the reasons what got me started even on this thing was him. I was a fan of his and his streams that he used to do that he doesn't do anymore. And then he kept talking about EVS coming over, and that got me excited because EVS is EVS. And then I subbed to him pretty much right when he made his channel, about right at the start. But the point I'm making is he's kind of off on his own, doing his own thing, and I think that's a really good thing because he's the type of guy that people gravitate to. He has that charisma that when he says things, even his videos, which are, if you ever watch his videos, there's nothing special going on. He doesn't have anything flashy. It's just a dude talking about stuff. But he has a way of bringing people in to listen to him. Even people who dislike him, they still listen to him, and that's very important.
I think Richard has a infectious enthusiasm. That's how he's got on this far. I don't know what it is, but when he gets excited for something, I do too.
Yep. No, there's something about Richard. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, before we continue on, let's go over to the chat and see if we have any interaction with us. We have over here that Pope Raven says, Mortal Worlds looks great. Joshua Hughes says, I can't wait for Mortal Worlds to come out. Awesome. James, or excuse me, Doom, says, if some of the T-Bird and Throttle, he looks like he backed that at the $300 level. Awesome. And he says something about John De La Rose put them in a future book as a character. Oh, that's cool. There must be some connection there. But I love the look of that book. And he says that he's really hyped for it. All right. John Dillard says, what are we looking at here? Okay, John. Welcome, John. Nice to see you here, John. I'll talk to you later for sure, by the way. All right, we have Jake Beal. Hello, Jake. Hey, we were very happy to have you on the show the other day, man. And he's communicated with Paul Hassett, but certainly welcome, sir. Humphrey Bear, Brother Bear is here. Hello. Gary has 884 subs now. Absolutely, that's excellent. When Gary gets up to 1,000 subs, they're going to have a very special giveaway that Gary and actually several of us that are support Gary are going to put together this really cool package that it was going to be given away, and it's going to be a great thing. I think we're going to actually have to put some Copic pens and markers in there as well. But that is excellent. Thank you for telling us about that, Humphrey. Christopher Ryan is here, and he tells everyone to smash that like button. Yes, please do smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Join us. Be part of what we're doing. Share it out. Thank you very much, Christopher. Down here, and I hate that refresh when that happens. John Dillard is talking about Mortal Worlds. A lot of conversation about Mortal Worlds going on. I wonder if we should talk about that or not.
Let's leave that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let them talk about it. Kronos Chiron says he has a lawsuit that should. Yeah, okay, we'll let that alone. John says, to me, will you give me the link or are you biased? Chester is biased. I prefer redheads over brunettes, but I married a brunette, so maybe that's not true. You guys want to let John in here? That might be fun. Haven't finished up the show list. Yeah. All right, yeah, John, I'll send you one. And
I was
let's go down
wondering,
here.
yeah.
Dr. Doom says, no, I butchered that, Chester. If anyone backs T-Birds at $300 level, John Delarose will put them in a future book as a character. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Doom. All right, go ahead, Wolf. You take care of bringing us on to the next topic and or next point, and I will go
I would
ahead
just
and
like to say we have a
drop a link.
Pope bar in here.
Well, hello,
Yeah,
Pope
yeah.
Fire.
What about Pope?
She's
Oh, no.
coming to our
Well,
hangout.
she
so
has the link,
quiet.
so she can join in
No,
anytime
she's
she wants.
She's
Yeah,
here
she's
right
here.
now.
I
Hey,
snuck in.
Pope,
I
welcome.
ninja'd my way in.
What ninja? You have the
I'm so
direct link.
sorry.
What are you talking about?
Today was not a very good day for me, and when I got off of work, I just completely crashed, and I could not get up. So you'll have to forgive me for being tardy.
Oh, no
Fly, I
problem.
had a
Welcome,
fly in my room.
welcome, welcome. All right, go ahead, DeWolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so looking up the list, there's some more. Funny enough, I don't believe he has an actual stream unto himself, but I bumped into Nasser Ribaldi's name, and did I just use someone else's name?
Rabati.
Rabadi. Okay.
Rabati.
Ribaldi is something else.
And yeah, he does stream sometimes. He's not all the time though, but he does have a channel and everything.
Okay, but he's not talked about it. So there's really only one thing we can do if we talk about Nasser a bit, and that's basically to bring up his name so that we can then kick his name off the channel, right?
Exactly. Nasser, kick. All right. John, I just sent you a link, by the way. Come on and join us, man.
So, unless anybody else has anything to say about Nasser, we've just kicked him and we're gonna move on.
Yes, Nasser is kicked. On. All right.
Boom.
That's fun.
Okay, let's see. Getting up here, let's see. Lee Jones and Detective Dead. Okay.
With Critias. Yeah.
Yeah. So Critias.
I love
What an
Critias.
interesting guy. It's whenever he's on streams, you know, with the accent and stuff, you can really tell. You can, and he's smooth. He's smooth. He's fun to listen to. What about you guys?
Oh,
Well,
Critias.
you know, my interaction was on EVS stream, and actually Mitch stream. We kept bumping into the same channels. I guess not for chance, and he was doing his promotion for Detective Dead, but it wasn't this nice looking before. It was kind of sparse. With the drawings, it was just more sketches and an idea with his first campaign.
That's a fair point.
He's but he's really turned it around,
Yeah,
you know, and I backed this one as well. So it's really interesting, and you know, he enjoys community. He's already put some Easter eggs like Nurkic and Cecil in one of his panels right there that you pass by.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's right here.
And you know, and it's really interesting. You know, he's been learning from how the other guy's been doing and incorporating that, and that's something that's a positive of the community, is that we collaborate, we learn from what makes successful campaigns and then implement them. You know, it's like back off, look what was doing wrong and what's being done right, kind of deal.
I love this
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
DeWolf loves this picture too.
Critias is he's a very awesome. He's a pretty awesome dude, actually. I'm really proud of him, in fact, because I kept telling him for weeks that he needs to try and get on with these streams, and he just kept saying he wasn't ready. Eventually, he did, and he's doing great. So I'm really proud of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we may have to refer to him as Mary Poppins, the Mary Poppins of Comicsgate.
Yes, we will. We should. That's why I was singing Chim Chimmery in the background there. But that picture is funny. It does look like Mary Poppins. But no, you're right, guys. When he came out with that initially, the Indiegogo, it didn't look good. It wasn't catching anyone's attention. But he listened and he improved it, and now he's over 25 grand, and he deserves it. It's a beautiful looking book, and he's been out there doing the work. He's been growing his community, and he's been doing the marketing, which is what we've been talking about all along.
And it's a
hold on.
fantastic idea.
It is
just from the top
fantastic idea.
down. It's such a cool idea. I'm glad he's actually got some feet under it. I got some legs under it.
Now we do have a couple of new people that have come over and joined us in here, so let's get their opinions before we move on. Hello, John. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am great, sir. Sorry I couldn't join you earlier, man. The last time I was talking to you, I was literally working, band practice, bed, then up. So I'll definitely please give me a rain check on that, sir, please. But yeah, we're talking about basically here, John. What we're talking about is what is the state of affairs of Comicsgate? What is the overall impression? How are things going? Good, bad, whatever. Give us your opinion on the overall state of things.
Right now, the overall state of things, to me, feels like there's not a real big event happening anymore. It feels like it's kind of settling down, which is nice because it's settling down, but people are still doing well. Like these campaigns are continuing to produce high numbers, but things are settling down. There's no real big drama going on, to me, in my opinion, and that's really encouraging.
That is actually. We were talking about that earlier. It is absolutely encouraging. Thank you. Speak of the devil, and he shows up. Hello, Credius.
Look at this guy.
How you doing, Justin? How's everybody doing?
Oh, doing great.
Hello.
Doing good.
Oh yes, I brought a friend.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, please. Welcome. Nice to see you, Credius. We were just talking about your book and how much we love how it started out and you improved it and you grew and now you're making really good money on it. There's a lot of pride in here for you, man.
Yeah, it came a long way. Trust me.
Yeah, it has. We've seen it, man, and it's very cool. And the book looks great too. Since we're here, actually, we should have you on at some time to just sit and talk about the book and how you came up with the idea and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, we're talking about Comicsgate in general, and you're certainly an absolute member of it. So please tell us what you think is the state of affairs right now, sir.
I guess right now everybody's just trying to figure out how to make these books become more cheaper. I guess everybody's trying to find their ground, and build the audience to keep pushing forward. Because eventually, I don't think the Indiegogo is going to last for a very, very long time.
That's true. Yeah, have to find an alternate method. You're right. Yeah.
Right.
So what do you think about on that topic then? What do you think about the aspect with Ethan talking about creating his own printing company? Of course, Mike has been hinting at doing that as well. What do you think about going that route, having when these big guys create a new comic book company and they just have a bunch of things funnel underneath them and then just go through Diamond as usual? What do you think about that?
Right. That sounds like a good strategy. I mean, Ethan's gonna do his own books for now. That's his goal. But he said that in the future, he'll plan to publish under his brand for I guess for a percentage of the book sales. I don't know about Mike's plans, but I've been thinking about maybe doing an independent route also. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, well, I know that Ethan has gobbled up Kanan White, and he's a very smart man to do so. I think it's going to move that direction. Oh, cool. And of course, Pope Fire, welcome. How you doing, Pope? I said hello. How are you?
Oh, it's been a interesting day. Yeah, I found out some bad news, and then while I was coming back from the doctor, somebody had sideswiped my car.
Oh
and
yeah,
they did a pretty good number on it.
Yeah, we absolutely
when
saw
it
that.
rains,
Yeah,
it
sorry
pours.
about that, and hopefully that'll get all worked out and such. And hopefully you'll have a better day from now on. You're talking to us. It should certainly cheer you up. So what do you think about the state of affairs in Comicsgate? I mean, because in all honesty, you are a major member of Comicsgate. You're everywhere. You're involved with everything. You're doing charities. You're doing all kind of stuff, Pope. So how do you think things are here? What is the state of affairs within Comicsgate?
I would like to think of it as a roller coaster. I don't think we've hit the peak yet. I do think that with how many Indiegogos there are and how many people are pushing Indiegogos, I do think that we will hit the peak eventually. But I don't think it's going to be for a while because I still think the majority of Comicsgate books are fantastic. And there are different types of Comicsgate books where if you don't like something, somebody else may like it. And I think that we've got a while before we hit that peak. I do think, that we might have a split with the community. It definitely feels like there's a split coming.
How so?
So,
Give us some. What is your
uh,
insight on that? What do you think?
I think that there's going to be sort of a split in the community because it definitely feels like there's some people that are kind of wanting to be more actiony and more people that want to be more passive. And I just think that the fans are sort of going to split into creators that are more passive versus creators that are more actiony. That's
Now,
Thank God. I thought you were going to say there were some that are more Pope raving and more than Pope fiery.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
you're only gonna do well if you have your own pope.
In the League of Popes,
Yeah,
the
but
Popes debate.
Meanwhile, in the League
we
of
have the
Popes,
best pope though, so story
It's
short,
now,
you guys
it's
have
over.
the first pope.
now, when you're talking
Pope Thunder.
action versus non-actiony, are you talking about those that actually like push out towards like SJWs and do things like that, actiony?
Well, I think there's a difference between people that want retaliation and people that just sort of want, to remain passive and not have the attention on Comicsgate. Because I feel like there are a large portion of the community that's like, well, we need to do stuff to them. It's like, I don't think that's the smartest decision, but I do think that there's enough people on both sides of the community that a split will be happening.
Oh, right, yeah, because that's actually a good point to make a shout out to the War Campaign channel, because they're like that. They're a group of guys like us that get together, they talk and stuff, but they have a dedication. And since we're running low on time, I was going to talk a little bit more about some of the other creators that we haven't gone up the list for.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Like Artie Bear. Oh my goodness, Artie Bear had on. We're gonna have to do this next week maybe. He had on Ron, who has a comic, Patriotica, over on Kickstarter, and that'll be a really interesting concept because here you've got another creator who's bringing up another creator that's over on Kickstarter, but we are pretty much dedicated to Indiegogo, so that would be a good conversation. But since you were mentioning the active side, and I brought up the War Campaign, that gets right up to Ethan Van Sciver, right up there to the top. And when you're talking about that level of dedication, they're very active, they're very dedicated. They use a lot more phrases and words that are maybe inflammatory and things, to strike back out in more of an active style, and that's good. Like we're talking about, we try to be a little more chill and not do things like that. But Ethan, let's go ahead while I brought it up, and I'm not sure if you guys have heard about or watched his show recently, but he's got his frog. He's got his frog Kermit that has not been feeling well, and it's very interesting because here you've got a creator that came on ranting about Star Wars, put out a comic book, we backed it, and now here he is talking about his pet frog. It's not doing well, and there's a very humanizing sometimes when Ethan is talking. And I think this is about part of his personality and charm. You can really see just his human side, that part about him, and I guess that's what we all connect about too. Everybody from Gary to Artie Bear and our nice guest here today, who happened to join us. Thank you. That we get to know them as people, and that is so neat. And when he's talking about that, so take it away.
All right. Well, yeah, no, we are coming to the top of the second hour, and what we're going to do here, since we got a couple guests in, we certainly want to sit and chat with. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do our normal ending for this show, and then I'm going to continue on, and you're all welcome to stay with us. Please do. We're going to chat with them, and I'll rip that conversation out and put it up as its own video later. But thank you all for coming. This has been a very fun FanSpeak. I think we talk about a lot of interesting things, and we talk about the state of comics gate as it is, and a lot of us prefer to call it like indie revival, but it is what it is. It's Comicsgate, and the simple fact of the matter is, everyone's opinion seems to be that things have quieted down. but that's a good thing. And there's so much positivity. There's a lot of people looking toward the future. There's going to be a lot of books be coming out here very soon, and we're looking forward to reviewing them. And trust us over here, we will be honest about them. We're not going to just, placate people. But that's all right. And we want this community to grow. We want to grow in the right way. So it sounds like everything is doing pretty well. There's a few hiccups here or there. There's a few people that make little troubles here or there. But in general, there's still a lot of positivity as we're waiting for the next big thing to happen. So thank you all for coming. Keep in mind that we do our show every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanSpeak is on Friday at 8 p.m. Bugbear's Basement is on Tuesday at 8 p.m. But we also do the comics news today every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and please come and join us for that. Check out all our links down below and support us in every way you can. We want to grow, and as I always say, if you want to be on the show, come and send me a link to Chester C. Busby III on Facebook and say, Chester, put me on the show, and I will. That's why we're here. This is FanSpeak.
One thing I wanted to say right before we cut this section off is the shift that she's talking about has already happened once before. When this first started, it was pretty much just people, and I use this term nicely, complaining online on YouTube about comic books. That's fine. That was necessary. It needed to happen. As more pros started to come in and more indie comics people started to come in, it actually was given a direct purpose, and that purpose was to create things that could be a replacement for the things that they were complaining about, to try and show them how to do it. And now it's kind of growing into its own small little industry, almost like a cottage industry inside comics itself. It's a good thing. Those changes are going to happen regardless of who's here, who's not here. As the movement, quote unquote, matures, that's just going to happen on its own. It's going to fragment off into its own thing because it's going to get too big as we don't have a same target anymore. So now you have the guys who are more focused on making new books. You have guys bringing in new people like Critias, how he kind of brought himself in, really. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that as long as the overall goal is to make better comic books. And I think that's what most of us are trying to do here. Some people have different tactics than others. Some I don't agree with, but I think that the goal is still intact. As long as that's intact, then I don't think anything's in danger.
Namaste.
That's just, and that's just at work.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm a strong believer in there's a time for battles. And, when you make everything a battle, you're slowly going to lose the war. I'm really thankful for this community, and excuse me here, I guess I'm losing my voice. And I'm really thankful for the people I've met. Running Comicsgate's fundraiser has been really fun. I'm just at the same time, I don't want Comicsgate to be something that when I talk to my non-Comicsgate's friends that I have to be embarrassed about, because I do know that there are people that use it as a reason to be extreme towards others, and I don't want that to happen for Comicsgate. And I know it's going to happen regardless. I just think that the more we kind of try and keep it together, it's not going to be as bad.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
How about you, Booster? You want to say something before we roll this over?
I'm running out of caffeine, so I'm not going to be entertaining for much longer, lads.
Yeah, we probably need to start.
You were entertaining before?
All right.
Implying you were entertaining before?
Oof. Let's.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much. Like we said, and we will check you out on the other side, and make sure to check us out every day. Check out all those links. If you want to support us, please do. We're having a lot of fun over here, and come join us. All right?
Check out the fundraiser, guys. We have a few days left. The raffle ends on the 31st.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
So now I'll take care of the editing and all that later. But all right, let's go now. First things first. Hello, John. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. I'm having a really good day. I'm doing a really long day. Haven't been to sleep yet. I went up all the shift last night. Got home, did a marathon stream until noon, and then hopped on Malin's channel at 4, and now I'm over here.
Actually, that unfortunately that day yesterday is like the worst day for me to do it because I got work and then I have band practice after that and I get home like at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I crash immediately. Because I definitely want to come and join you guys, man. That's a lot of fun what you guys do. But now John, you came on and to the fan edition of Joined and Quartered and you slayed it. And then you went over to the Pro Edition and you slayed that as well. You are actually have won gold medal in the Fan Edition and the Pro Edition, sir. That must put you up on cloud nine, man.
It does actually, and the thing is, like, when I first did it, it didn't mean anything because I was the first person to win the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, which had no prize at the time. So what I did was I made sure to take that imaginary clout over to Mike's channel and just give him grief until he finally said, "Well, if you're so good, then come and prove it."
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I did. And it's just been like a roller coaster of fun. And the thing that sucks is that I work long hours. Like normally on the week I get like 2 hours, so I got to do my show in an hour and a half, and then get the baby to her grandma's house, and then come back and sleep, and then wake up in 6 hours and run again. But like these weekends are my times that I'm like super excited, I'm like super jacked, and I want to do everything I can on my weekends, which is why like this morning I had a 6-hour hangout party essentially. Just anybody that wanted to join, tell me you want to join, I'll bring you in. We'll just talk and draw and do whatever. And this is a fantastic community. I love it to death.
Oh yeah, man, it's really cool too because all you artists get together and just draw and chat about art. It's really cool, man. I love it. And you're a killer artist too, man. So you must have some plans for the future. Do you want to divulge any secrets to us while you're here?
Like future plans? Like honestly, like my plans are all out there.
Yeah, do you have any tips for me to improve my artwork?
Try using paper and pencil.
Oh, Booster.
I think
Booster, your
the
artwork
best way to
cannot get
improve
any
your
better.
artwork.
If you use the pencil and paper instead of a computer, it would probably come out better.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know.
Your artwork would improve if you just didn't draw anymore and just
You
never
could sit there like a little kid and like be erasing the whole time. Like this would be great.
It would be funny. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah, no, man. But maybe everyone over here doesn't know what your plans are, though. So why don't you tell us them?
Oh, so the thing is, I started my channel, and my channel is essentially called John Dillard Gaming the System because I believe the system to get into comics is broken. I think that if you have the drive and the talent, and you have put in the work to have the chops to be an artist, there shouldn't be any kind of barriers to doing what you love. And that doesn't mean working for the big two. That just means making money, whether that's supplemental money or even full-time income, doing your artwork. Because people want comic artwork. People want artwork in general. And if you can do it, there should be a way to monetize that without hassle. So what my channel is essentially, I decided that I'm going to break into the comic book industry, come hell or high water. So what I do is I record and chronicle and tell people about everything that I do and all the steps that I take in order to game the system, in order to make things work in your favor, in order to everything that I do. When I went on there and I got myself on the Pro Edition, I tell them this is how I did it. You got to get in their ear. You got to talk trash. These people are pros. They've heard it their whole lives. They can take it. Talk trash. And then when I went on the Pro Edition, continue to talk trash. Call them out. Call Kanan SJW. Call Mike Bias. Whatever. Make fun of John Malin's furry fetish with his feet. Whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And but the thing is, get yourself out there because like I said, everything I do, I put up on Twitter. Everything. I did a competition with Manny from Good Dog Press, and he did a much better Princess Leia than I did. I ended up messing up. Put too much white out. She ended up with a man face.
Oh, okay.
I put that out on Twitter. I put it out on Twitter same day because you have to keep your name out there in front of everybody at all times. And I chose my name because it's really long and it's annoying. So, but people eventually, but the thing is, people eventually start to enjoy saying it. Like today, when I went on Malin's show, he invited everybody, and so of course I went on Malin's show, And he says, "Oh, and here's John Dillard," and we all know he's out there gaming the system, and everybody had a chuckle. But that's a super long name, and for somebody like Malin to remember it, it shows that it's working, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
good.
we know
Yeah,
at least we
never-
know when you make it big, you'll be the artist formerly known as John Dillard
Yeah,
gaming the system.
he's got to go with a symbol from now on. He's got to have a symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mentioning Manny, Manny's a great artist too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's a great
gotta be
guy
doing
too.
It doesn't matter what
And the thing
you're
is-
going into. You know, so many different artists and talents from music or whatever. Or I'm watching America's Got Talent. Who stands out in America's Got Talent? And that's someone who has a gimmick or some character that stands out. And that's exactly what you've done. You've taken that type of a concept.
Yeah.
And it's the same exact thing from like the presidential elections. It's whatever you got to do to get your name out there. It's always, every single year since I was born, it's always been whoever's name is in the public's mouth more gets elected.
I do
marketing.
have a comment here from the chat that I want to introduce, and you guys remember you can send any questions you want, and I'm seeing all these cool things you guys are talking about amongst yourselves as well. But Josh Hughes, our most favorite troll, he says Booster won't draw on paper because he doesn't want to show his hands on camera, since everyone would know just how abnormally short his arms are.
I resent
Ooh,
that.
dang. They do not like you today, Booster.
That is wonderfully
That's
funny.
bullying me. I don't care for it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, John. Thanks, man. Really happy to have you over here join us today, and I'm having a lot of fun with you guys as well. But of course, we have Critias here with us as well. So Critias, hello, sir. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw up your Indiegogo here for everyone to look at, and if you don't mind, maybe we can talk about it a little bit. Yeah.
Sure. Sorry, my throat's kind of dry.
Oh, that's all right. Let me go ahead and put it up on the screen for you guys to check it out as well. So yeah, man, I guess my first question is, I think we all agree that when it first started, it was your Indiegogo layout wasn't good. But I don't know who gave you advice or stuff in the background, but as time went on, it got really good. This is a great
Okay.
Indiegogo page, and there might be some questions there for you, Critias, in regards to how to run a good Indiegogo, because you absolutely have a beautiful page going on here now. But the first question I want to ask you before we get to that is this: what is the inception of Detective Dead, man? Where did you get this idea from?
When I was in school, it was a thesis project that I did like 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't want to write for comics, so I just put the story away and just continue writing for movies. And then when I saw what EVS was doing, I decided to give writing for comics one more shot. So since I already had that story, I pulled it out from my hard drive and continued it when I finished it up and give it a shot.
Okay, well, you just kind of blew past the writing for movies part. Let's go back to that. Huh? Please tell us about that.
Because I don't have a success in screenwriting, but I've come close to selling like 2 or 3 screenplays to some movie studios, but they never got optioned. So when I was recently in school like earlier this year, and I was getting depressed, and I gave up writing, for movies, and I just didn't want to do it no more. You remember the movie The Wraith from the 80s?
Oh yeah, I love that, the car movie. Yeah.
Okay, so I contacted the owner to the movie who owns the rights, and he gave me a chance to rewrite it. And he told me when I was done to send him the script because he had the contacts. But as I was writing, I was also enrolled in school, and then something happened where I just hit a low point. I just didn't want to write no more because I said to myself, I'm never going to be successful. I'm wasting my time. So I just gave up writing altogether. And then I came across EVS, Star Wars streams, and then it turned from Star Wars to Comicsgate, and inside me a fire spark to try it one more time, and so I did.
Wow, dude. Now you must be excited here. With this campaign, you got up to $25,000, almost $26,000 here, and in the end, after publishing and stuff, how much money in your pocket might not be that big a point. But what you are going to have is an absolute published book out there, and I know from my point of view that in itself is a cool thing.
Yeah. That's my goal right now. Is I'm not thinking about the funds. I'm just thinking about the funds in the sense of covering all the costs, like shipping, printing, and the perks. But my main goal is to build an audience, for future comics.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, give us a little insight into, you know, when it started out, you had this very simple Indiegogo, but it's developed and become a really nice looking page over the time. How did that happen? I mean, did people say, "Hey, dude, this page isn't any good. You need to do this, this, and this," or did you notice it? I mean, how did that happen? How did you
Um,
go from what you had to what you have now?
all right. So my first campaign, I launched it with only like $200 in my name, you know. And what I did was I created some Photoshop images and I put it up, and then I hired this one guy to do me the page that I needed with my last $200 something, and he didn't do what I wanted, you know. So that image only got to raise me like $1,000, and then my campaign failed horribly, and I was crushed. You know, I was like, oh, you see, I should have never done this. I should have just retired from writing altogether. And then Edwin reached out to me. He said, hey, you know, just take a step back and re-strategize your campaign, get at least 5 to 6 images up, and, you know, and try again, you know. And Umbrella Guy was amping me up, and then I was trying to reach out to EVS for a couple of weeks, and he wasn't getting back to me. So I just felt like, oh, I don't got a shot. But I did it anyway. You know, I put my fear to the side, because like even the day I launched, I was saying, you know what, forget it. I don't want to launch this. I'm going to refund everybody the money, and that's it. You know, I didn't want to try it. I took the risk and I launched it, and I was surprised to get this far.
Wow.
No, and that's definitely something that, you know, a lot of creators do. It's like, you know, they jump at it with no idea. At least you had the courage to do so. And I do recall the refund from that first project. But there was something there, you know, that had the idea, that spark, and now you were able to actually present it well formed, that now, you know, people are having a lot of trust in you to say, hey, you are going to produce a good product.
Right. I took a lot of advice from like John Malin, Edwin, you know, Umbrella Guy, you know, and I just started like chopping. So took also advice from Mike about my video, you know, to put something else. And then EVS gave me advice to get rid of the Sisu video that I had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I agreed. That was a good move. That it didn't fit with what you were doing. You know?
Right.
It's a funny video, but
I
it
think
didn't sit. Yeah.
Right.
I think Detective Dead came up in our second show when we were discussing the Indiegogo, and it was of course it was way down at the bottom because it was new. That was several months back, and
Right.
yeah, I think many of us were discussing on how the page was bad, and we had our suspicions on how well this book could get, and then all of a sudden, you know, we keep talking about it, and we go back and we check again, and really it just took off over time. The page changed, your numbers shot up, and we think it's a different thing. It's awesome.
Market.
It was for me. What made it what it is right now is everybody in the audience, but also what helped me was not being upset, you know, and taking the advice everybody gave me, you know, because I think the advice is what actually helped mold it to what it is right now. You know?
Yeah, we're throwing out advice. We're trying to give advice out, just freely throwing it out here, you know, on the YouTubes constantly, hoping that a creator like yourself might see it, and some little thing sparks them to say, oh yeah, you're right. You know, if I just go in here and maybe, you know, change how I did this or that, like these guys said, then I can get more hits, and hopefully, you know, eventually we can be a help too.
Yeah. One of the things John Malin. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that I love this panel right here, but you go ahead and continue.
Yeah, one of the things that John Malin was telling me, I love that page. You know, I'm not even gonna get that page. My artist fell in love with it too, so he's still with it. So one of the things that John Malin told me is that don't go overboard with the description. He said try to keep it short and concise, because nobody's gonna want to look at it. They want to look at art, and the art is what's gonna attract them. You know. And then Edward told me, you know, put up at least like 5 to 6 pages, and you know, because it's what's gonna grab the people's attention, and then they're gonna invest.
I'm just glad you listened to me eventually, because I kept telling you and bugging you to get on streams, and you finally did, and it really helped blow you up.
Yeah. Okay. So one day Mike was doing something on Twitter. He was making a comment, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna give it a shot. I was like, hey Mike, you know, have me in your show one day? He said, yeah, sure, why not? Something like that. I forgot how the conversation went. He brought me on, and then I met EVS through his channel, because EVS jumped on that night, I guess, because he had nothing to do. And then I met EVS, and I spoke to EVS. EVS said I couldn't come on his channel, but then I messaged EVS, and he didn't get back to me, so I don't know what's going on. So then one day I saw that my campaign kind of got to like a stall. I asked him to try EVS one last time because I don't know, you know, he's gonna have the time for me. I said, hey EVS, you think you could give me a shot on your channel to help sell some books because right now my campaign stalled. And I was amazed. He responded pretty fast. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll have you on. Come on. And then when I got on his channel, he welcomed me to show up more time. He's like, well, whenever you want to come on, you could come on. You know, and it took off from there. You know, but it took me a while to get to EVS. I mean, a while.
Oh, yeah. It does for everybody. There's there's another artist who I know from a different community on YouTube who follows Comicsgate, and he's in. He was also kind of blacklisted, but I'll let him tell his story when he does get his chance to get over here.
Right.
But he wants, you know, he's been trying to put the feelers out there and get a hold of EVS or somebody, just anybody. It doesn't even necessarily have to be him. And it's just he's not easy to get a hold of. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of people who want his attention.
Well,
yeah,
right.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say he has a lot of pressure on him because he has to deliver on Cyberfrog, and if he doesn't deliver, less people are going to buy the Wreck Planet Cyberfrog 2, even if it has Dave Sims in there. Well, I might buy it just because it has Dave Sim in there, but most people be like, well, it's good art, but the story is kind of Why do I need to pay for this next comic that might be kind of similar? You know.
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you, I think your idea is one of the most solid ideas out of all of them. It's such a really good idea. It's really it looks cool. It's something that I think is going to actually be popular again in a few years. You're going to start to see more like noir and stuff like that because it's about that time. Usually comes in cycles. So I think you're a little bit ahead of the curve. We just had the Blade Runner movie just came out. And I think you're just going to see more and more of that style because it's a very classic, iconic style. And I'm just really glad that it's actually working out for you. And I encourage you to keep going with it. If you're going to keep doing it, keep going with it. Because
I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Hey, Critias.
Hey, well, Chester.
Yeah, go ahead.
We broke the show. the whole FanSpeak show. We broke the show. But I just wanted to mention that even Jim has stopped in this late in the hour.
Oh, he
from another friend.
Yeah, I'm finally here. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Got distracted setting up a web store.
Oh, we have a new person here. Okay, all right. Well, let me bring it over and share it on the because I'm just showing the folks the browser view. So I'll go ahead and bring it over and let us talk. But I do have a question for you, Critias.
Sure.
Could you tell us a little bit about your artist, please?
Oh yeah, Rod Looper. I found him through DeviantArt. I had artists dropping out on me from the first campaign, so that's why the first campaign fell. I didn't have good images, and I found him through DeviantArt, and he said he's done Kickstarters before, and he was okay with me, giving me some few pages ahead of time, and that worked out. And he's been doing this for like 20 years, and he was an illustrator for like advertisement companies, and then he wants to go back into comics, and we it worked out between us,
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
It's good art too.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. What attracted me to his art was this. I seen a page that he did on DeviantArt. It was like a van, and it was so detailed. I was like, "Geez, Louise, this guy is awesome." And I was like, he was the guy I thought wasn't going to work out. I thought he wasn't going to have time, or he's going to be expensive. And actually, everything played out well.
Hey, Critias.
Yeah.
You just said, "Geez, Louise." You know how long it's been
since
I've heard that, man.
Yeah. It's I don't say curses, so I just substitute it for like random.
No. I think it's cool. I just haven't heard that in a long time, man. That's cool. It brought back nostalgic memories. Yeah. Ah, cool, man. And of course, we have another creator just jumped on here too. Wow, everybody's coming in after the show is done. Awesome. So we have the creator of Blue Mamba here, I think, right?
Hey,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off because I gotta go on EV's live stream if you don't mind.
Oh no, thank you very much for coming. And actually, you should come back and let us have a more conversation with you just about comics in general, man. So definitely keep in touch.
For sure. Everybody take care.
All right, man. Congratulations.
Right,
great campaign, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Pope. Thank you, Chester.
All right, later, man.
Bye.
right. Well, we have the Blue Mamba creator here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
I'm Jim Helis. I'm the writer and creator of Blue Mamba. Had a successful Indiegogo campaign that raised over $16,000.
Sweet.
And I have fulfilled almost all of the orders at this point. Still waiting on the last few people to complete their backer kit surveys. And we're already starting to see social media response. People have been reading the book and enjoying it, and video reviews have gone up, and give us some positive feedback on it.
Oh, that's cool. Who's done a video review for you?
Just a few smaller people, smaller YouTubers, and a couple people still have pending videos that are going to come out shortly, I guess. None of the big guys have done a review yet. So
yeah, of course we should jump in there and say that you know it's on our list to do as well.
Yeah,
it is.
I do want to say that I've never read a porno comic before.
I don't know. Booster, should I believe that?
Absolutely not. She's a disgusting little rascal.
Yes, clearly I am secretly a closeted pervert. No, like, okay, so I was actually kind of embarrassed reading it. And it comes mostly because I'm super duper modest, but I really did enjoy it. And I felt like it was kind of missing something that a lot of comics books don't have nowadays. And I talked about this before, where people want to appeal to the female audience, but they never put in any romance. And that's like the easiest way to appeal to your female audience, is to add in a little bit of romance. So I did kind of enjoy it, because I don't feel like there's a lot of comics out there that have a little bit of romance in it.
Yeah, and that's a big part.
Like a couple. Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of the overall story. The relationship between Clarissa and Echo is a big part of the story.
I thought what you really had to do was pick some sort of a man and bash them up, right? Yeah, and drag them down and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess I was confused on how to appeal.
All right. We got a couple of comments here from the chat. Might as well read them. We have Zack Schneider said that you've never read a porno comic, then you've missed out on a lot. Okay.
The Zack Snyder. I'm glad.
Well, I've read one now.
Zack Snyder. We also have up here March Hare said, Dark Admiral March Hare says, in my opinion, getting on EVS show helps, but it isn't the only way. Critias talking with me and others in the various chats went a long way with me. I agree with that. One of the things first place I met Critias was just in the chat, just saying, hey Critias, hey, how you doing? Just chatting along, and that's where I know him from, and that's part of marketing, isn't it? It's a good point.
Yeah,
well,
that's the same thing for me. I met Critias before he even jumped onto EVS and Mike's stream in the chats as well. And he was trying to promote that as well. So there's different avenues. You have to find which one works the best for you and which one has the most content, speaks out. And it's a slow buildup, but it's the work that people don't see. They just see the end result, but they don't see all the work that you have to put in before, all the groundwork before that happens. And, he had one failure and now he has a successful campaign, and that's great.
No, it is cool. And I think there's a lot of information there with Critias that will help other creators how to get it right. He made the mistakes. And that's why I want to have him back on again to talk about in more detail about how he set the Indiegogo up in the end that was successful. Now we have another successful Indiegogo here with Blue Mamba, and you made some good money on that. And how do you think you're going to continue into the future? Are you going to continue with Indiegogo, or are you going to try to shift over to maybe something like an Alterna Comics or Antarctic Press or something like that?
I'm not out shopping for a publisher, so I'm not actively looking for a publisher to pick this up. But if somebody comes along and the terms are a good fit, then I don't see why not. But for now, the plan is just to keep going with crowdfunding.
I see. No, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. I know we've had several comments in here over the past several weeks talking about that Indiegogo is going to be a limited future, and we need to find a way of better distribution.
I agree.
And everyone keeps saying they agree, but and I have said I agree, but I'm not sure. Is
Well,
Indiegogo not a good way to go into the future? I mean, do you really think it's going to peter out?
I don't think it'll. I think what'll make it less appealing is the price point. Um, and 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 that's kind of it, how to explain this. You have some very successful comic books that all they do is crowdfunding, and their price point is in the $10 to $20 range. And they raise anywhere from $30,000 to $150,000 every time they go out for crowdfunding. But these books have dedicated audiences. They've cultivated the people that are always going to buy from them, and they target them, and they're always going to make that level of money, regardless of what they put their price point at. Okay. What I think is going to be a detriment to the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaigns is the prolonged availability of books at the $10 to $20 price range, and the number of them that are out there that people want to support. So you're going to see either one of two things has to happen. Either the number of books that an individual supports shrinks, or the price of all the books that they want to support shrinks. And I think what you're going to have is actually the former. You're going to have people become more specific in the books they want to support, and they will be more likely to support fewer books at the same price point that they do today, instead of supporting everybody and having everybody bring their price point down, which is why I think people are saying Indiegogo is not viable in the long run, because they think that they have to support everybody, and the only way they can support everybody is if everybody drops their prices.
It's interesting. But one of the things we had talked about here recently, earlier, in regards to the state of affairs here with Comicsgate, is the fact that we're kind of in a lull, and it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing. But the one of the things of a lull, though, is it means that incredible amount of enthusiasm and stuff dies down, and maybe that's what you're going on is with the dying down of that enthusiasm, where you have a lot of people that feel responsible, they have to back every book that exists, are not going to start being much more picky about what they do, and that will affect the Indiegogo on a broader sense. But I think for the big projects, or even the smaller projects that get that following you're talking about, I have a feeling they will be able to continue doing that as long as they want.
Absolutely. I mean, take a look at Lady Death.
Exactly.
Brian Pulido has a cultivated audience that will buy everything he puts out there, and he will.
Oh, right.
That whole team will consistently make the same amount of money every time they put out a book. They fund. They succeed in funding their crowdfunding campaigns in seconds.
Yes.
Not minutes, not hours, seconds. And any of these Comicsgate books that is able to cultivate an audience to that level will be able to put out any book they want and successfully fund it every time. And that's the goal. But I see the broader community saying we can't afford all of these books at the price that you're selling them at, and I get that totally. And something has to give, and I think what's going to give is people are going to reduce the number of books they support.
That's interesting.
I think that's right. The thing is, there's some of these books, and a lot of the books are being supported simply because of the broad support. And I think what's going to happen is if the quality of the book isn't there, and the relationship with the community isn't there, those are the ones that are going to shrivel and fall off. And people are going to get selective with what they want. And when you have something that, or if you have a community that people like, that a community that appreciates what you do and you appreciate them, and you're also putting out the quality, the Indiegogo can go as long as it needs to go. Because like he said, there are people out there that do the Patreon and all that stuff, and they are supported by their community.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another
Absolutely.
avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's going to be up to the creators to support themselves. Like the big dogs are going to, the support's not going to be there anymore. They're going to back away from the smaller people.
What did I see?
And you got to have run on your own.
I forget who it was that said this, and if somebody remembers, speak up. If you can secure this is I'm paraphrasing. If you can secure 1,500 dedicated supporters, people that you know will buy anything you put out there, you're done. You're made. That's it. 1,500 people is it. That's what you need.
I think that was Malin.
Was it Malin?
Yeah,
okay.
It was Malin.
Okay.
Because I guess you only get about 5 to 7% interactive people in your community, and 5 to 7% of 15,000 will support a book.
Well, when you say 1,500, that seems like, okay, does that mean like for every book, like 1,500 supporters
for every book?
Over several years.
So those 1,500 people, and I think the number is probably a little higher than that to be able to do, to be able to be self-sustaining. But these are people that are dedicated followers, fans, supporters, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
They're the people that when you launch a crowdfunding campaign, support you in the first 15 minutes. And they don't need to know anything other than you're putting out a book. Yeah.
Because I think at this stage, it's probably good to put a little addendum on there and say, as a starter, it's good to have this many, supporters, and which is going to be much less than 1,500. If you can get a good number and then they get the book and they get good reviews, then you're going to build it up again, next time around.
Right.
Like for instance, I'm looking at the Indiegogo. What do I have here for Blue Mamba? I got a little over 500. Well, that's pretty good for the first time for it to be out, right? And after it comes out, then to be able to get, I'd say 800, 900, right, for the second book, or closer to 1,000. Well, at least as long as you have that growth, then you hit that 1,500 mark, or even 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, when we've been saying that, the whole community has been saying that. Build up your community. Exactly.
Yeah. Build the infrastructure.
Yes.
Can I
Go ahead.
say something really, really quick? Jim, I absolutely love you. You are an adorable person.
Thank you.
All right, I am going to have to head off, guys.
Okay. Oh yeah, no.
I will talk to all of you later.
We're well past the end of the show. We're just going into extra chat here. So yeah, thank you very much for coming.
I just gotta head
I believe that means I have to leave soon because we are going to do our Drunken Titans review, aren't we?
Well, say goodbye. We won't see them till tomorrow.
It's that time of the week, lads. So
I hate this show so much.
So yeah, please pray for us, pray for ourselves and our kidneys as we dive deep into
in all honesty,
Titans.
Yeah, no, you guys are crazy to do that. I mean, you drink every time it's cringy, and you have a show that's cringy for what, 50 minutes? 50 minutes of drinking? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, with that cue, we are well past our time here, and we want to have you back to talk more. We want to have John back. We want to have Curtis back. We want to have everybody back. And we need to set up and schedule those conversations with you as well. We do have a calendar, and we do schedule things. So please communicate with us. Now, in that communication, of course, you can talk to me. directly. All my links are down below. You can talk to DeWolf, you can talk to Denali, you can talk to Pope, you talk to Pixel, Thundaro, you talk to everyone, and it will funnel back into us. So feel free to reach out to us and tell us you want to be on the show and stuff. And of course, with you creators, we're always interested in sitting down and talking to you. So thank you very much for joining us, John.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. You guys are becoming very fast some of my very good friends.
Oh yes, man, I love you, John. You got a great sense of humor, and you're a great artist, and it's a lot of fun interacting with you, man. And thank you very much for coming on, Jim. And we need to have you back to talk about your comic more in depth, please. But some
Yes,
nice
absolutely.
insight there. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh no, you're welcome, and we definitely want to talk to you more. So let's go ahead and Thundaro, please give everyone your last words for today, man. Tell them where they can reach you.
My last words for the day are pretty much always the same as they always are. You can hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions on for anything or any troubles of any of the chats that I happen to be a moderator in. If you have any problems at all, never be afraid ever to come to me, to come to Chester, to come to whoever you can. We don't want there to be trouble in the community as much as we can control it. So please do not be afraid to ever speak up. And have a great night.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Chairman.
Let me first check and make sure I am. Hey, I am. I'm not muted. Yeah, I believe it was John Malin who said, grab an oar and row, right? And talking about what people need to do within the community to help Comicsgate grow. And sometimes it's not always just about whether or not you're rowing and how fast you're rowing and support you're given, as long as you stay in the boat. Sometimes you just need people to stay in the boat and maybe bail at times. But that's the important part, and we'll all have an oar at one moment or another. So just hang in there.
Absolutely. Denali Lama, namaste.
Thank you. So you can always catch me on Twitter at Denali101 or on FanSpeak page. I'm always posting the news of the days, and if you have any questions or concerns, you're always welcome to DM me as well. So I'm available to lend an ear and hear what you guys want to talk about. And I always leave with this comment that your reality is perceived by your perception. So make it a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you all for joining us. We really love the support of everybody coming here and joining our chats, and we're having a lot of fun with this. And we're hopefully also we're offering some help, and we're growing and being part of something. So thank you all very much. This is a fun show today, and remember, you check us out every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're doing a show. Tomorrow will be the comics news today. So thank you very much, and check out our links, and we will see you later.
Goodbye.
No,
Hail Raven.